Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to session number 3, the Male Raw Challenge for USA Powerlifting here at the Arnold Sports Festival in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Nick Stevens, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Lance London. Very excited to be here. We had a beautiful first session with the females here. So competitive, so back and forth. We still got the energy going. I'm ready for the Male Raw Challenge.
The ladies' session was very, very strong. Multiple world records broken, multiple American records broken, head-to-head battles, failures, misses, successes, heartbreaks, and I guarantee you we're going to see a lot of the same story here going into our male side.
Yeah, the top end is looking tight. A lot of these guys separated by just 20 dots points between the first 4 lifters in there. So a lot of shaking up can happen, and we spoke about this earlier in the female session, but a lot of times these meets that are so close are just about who is going to execute, who is going to hit their lifts. And one mistake can take you completely out of it. And if you're a stronger lifter, especially towards the end, those big jumps towards the end might bring you back in it. As we get started, the lifters are on the clock.
Starting up first, we've got Justin Saltz representing our adaptive category in the 56 kilo class, 88-pound squat here. 2 to 1, that is a good lift. He's on the board here. Up next, Mr. Thomas Bish, 82.5 kilos loaded, 181 here. And now for our adaptive lifters, these lifters are lifters who are going to be competing outside of the normal confines of the normal standard of competition. And so for Mr. Thomas' example, he is lifting with a prosthetic, so this is going to affect how folks are going to be judging his performance. However, he is going to be stacked up with the rest of the folks here at our competition here at the Arnold.
It's a good lift for Thomas.
Over on platform 1 here, Ethan Garcia, yep. Going to take 220 kilos, 485 pounds.
So today's competition is all done by dot score. So what they do is they take the lifter's body weight and put it into a formula with their total. That is going to give them a score that they can compare across each lifter, no matter what their body weight is. So someone who is a lightweight lifter that might be weighing in at about 130 pounds body weight can compare their total to someone who is a heavyweight lifter that might be weighing in at 300 pounds body weight. It's all about the pound for pound best. All of these lifters were invited here. This is the best of the best that USAPL has to offer, and we're gonna see who is the number 1.
Silver Garcia also taking 485 pounds for his opening attempt. John Ogle over on platform 2, 210 kilos, 463 pounds.
Silver lifting in the 67.5 kilo weight class. He weighed in this morning at 66 kilos.
3 white lights for him. And we are just moving the weight on up. We're going to see some big numbers here today, folks. Matthew Gibbs, 496 pounds. One of our lifters electing to bring the uprights in. That is lifter preference. That is something that our lifter can do if they so choose. If there's someone that has their hands a little bit wider, maybe they feel a little bit more stable. Maybe they use the uprights as a marker for where to put their hands.
A lot of times you'll see lifters take a very wide step on their walkout and the plates will clip the rack, so moving the uprights in is avoiding that as well. So each of these lifters today are going to get 3 attempts at each the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. Their best successful attempt from each of them will add to the total, which will go into the dots formula and give us that dot score that we spoke about earlier. We have 2 flights on each platform. All of these lifters that you're seeing today are all competing against each other. Just splitting it up into the 2 platforms helps us move a little bit quicker throughout the day.
And while it does allow us to move quicker on the day, shout out to our spotters and loaders as well for their quick work in getting the weight switched up here. But not only does it make it faster on the day, it also makes it a little bit more challenging for our lifters who are going to be gunning for those top 5 spots. Just a reminder for everybody watching our competition today, the top 5 male competitors in this session here will be awarded prize money. first through fifth, and so you are competing against everyone, not only in your flight on your platform, but on the opposite platform as well. So that adds an extra layer of variability, an extra layer of complexity, especially for our coaches that are having to crunch these numbers behind the curtain.
Right.
Here's Mark Frizzell, platform 1, 230 kilos. We've seen Mark Frizzell a million times, multiple-time nationals level competitor.
He's always here at the Arnolds every year. He competed last year. I'm pretty sure he was up there towards the top. I think he got second or third last year at the Arnolds. So definitely someone to keep your eye on today. One of the better pound-for-pound lifters we'll see. As Eric Weiss gets the 3 white lights. And we head on to Roderick Keeler. Roderick opening up with 237.5 kilos, 523 pounds. Coming into today on Forecast, he is the #1 forecasted lifter. So definitely someone we're going to be talking about quite a bit today. But remember, all those top 4 are fairly close to each other. He's projected at 521 currently. That goes off of the lifts that he has registered in the system. So all of his openers right now, since he hasn't completed a lift, are taken in to give you that 521 dot score. Roderick Keeler coming out for his opening attempt to start setting the standard for the rest of the lifters here.
Over on platform 1, we've got Dot Win, 507 for his opening attempt. Roderick Keeler choosing to do a high bar position, which isn't something you regularly see in powerlifting. However, a lot of lifters just feel stronger in that position. Clearly, Roderick feels that way if he's projected first. Absolutely blows up the first attempt there. 2 white lights, 1 red light. Can you talk a little bit about what the red lights are or could be?
Right, so we have 3 referees on the platforms which those lights correspond to. And the red light he got from the side also had the criteria at the bottom, which was a red card and a blue card. So they let him know that he did not squat low enough, which was the red card beneath it, and then possibly a soft knee, which was the blue card beneath it as well. But you only need the majority decision from our referees. You need a 2-to-1 decision. However, we do have a jury sitting just off to the side of the platform. If anyone wants to protest a 2-to-1 lift, they can go to the jury and have it overturned. Similar to how in a football game when you throw the challenge flag, same exact way. You could challenge your lifter's attempt that was no good and try to get them to reverse it back to good, or you could challenge another lifter's lift that was good and try to reverse it to no good. Just like you do in the NFL, just like you do in the NBA. You see our jury table here at the top of your screen, watching intently, and anyone could go to protest there, or they can get involved on their own and say, hey, you know what, we don't think that was a good lift. But all of the jury has to agree that it was either a no lift or a good lift for them to overturn it. It has to be a unanimous decision.
Alex McQuillan, platform 1 here, 518 pounds. Andrew Ernst, opening attempt at 595 pounds. I winced just a little bit watching Andrew squat that. That was insanely strong, insanely fast, textbook. Which means we're going to see some squats, especially in these openers that are going to be well into the 600, might even into the 700-pound range. And a lot of these lifters competing today in the Male Rod Challenge are national level competitors, having previously competed at nationals in the open session or in the primetime session.
Right, Dan Howell on platform 2 here was the 90-kilo national champion in the open division just 2 years ago when we were over in Salt Lake City, Utah for Raw Nationals that year in 2024. He's competed here at the Arnolds before. He's got a killer deadlift on him. Remember a couple years back we competed alongside each other in the deadlift competition. Great lifter, amazing deadlifter, and what a start there for Dan Howell.
Here's Albert Lee on platform 1, 237.5, 523. That's going to be a good lift. Or sorry, a no lift, 2-to-1. So 2-to-1, no lift. He gets a red card underneath that, so that is going to signify depth. And depth from the standpoint of the referees, we want to be sure that when you're looking at the squat, their hip crease, so the little crease that their hip makes whenever they get into the bottom of the squat, that is below the top surface of the knee. If it's not, and a lot of times our lifters who have kind of larger quads, it does obstruct that field of view. You know, when we say a lifter has big quads, we're not just saying that about their appearance. That is going to affect how they're judged.
Absolutely. Talk about big quads, Kevin on platform
Kevin
2.
Sanukin out of Georgia.
3 white lights, and here comes George Noma. He's had an incredible year of powerlifting, just competed at the Jersey Invitational earlier this year and came out victorious there. So George Noma's got 302.5 kilos, 666 pounds. That's gonna get Gino going, as we all know. So one thing they let me know beforehand is that this is a world record attempt, but it's not technically a world record attempt. This is to get to the world record total. Each of his lifts need to be judged by international referees. So it's under as world record attempt, but this is not the world record attempt yet for him. He's trying to build that total, but he needs to put that under there so we have the international referees on for each of his attempts.
We see the number of the power lifter, 666, loaded up on the board here. A world record attempt for International Drug-Free Powerlifting Association on an opening attempt for George Noma. Look at that, folks.
And George is such a killer squatter. It's his best lift by far, and he just gets so comfortable underneath that bar, making 666 pounds fly.
That was a pretty squat there. He's going to take us back to the top of the order. Thomas Bish in our adaptive category is going to go up 5 kilos to 192 pounds for his second attempt. Trevor Bolus over on platform 1 is going to take us to 290 kilos. 639 pounds, weighing in as an 82.5 kilo lifter.
Very important to note that.
181 pounds, less than 181 pounds of body weight, squatting 639 pounds, ladies and gents. This is exceptional powerlifting.
And just makes it look so easy.
Good golly, 2-1 does get a call from depth from the head referee. However, 2-1 is all we need in this sport. Majority rules.
Right.
Here's Thomas Bish on platform 2. $87.5 kilos, 192 pounds. That's going to be a good lift for him. Here's Justin Salt starting off our second attempts on platform 1. 93 pounds, locked and loaded.
Nice deep squat from Justin. Leaving depth up to no question there.
And as a coach, and especially as a referee, that's something you want to see, right? Just no doubt about any of your lifts.
Right. And it's an interesting line to walk because you don't want to drop it down so deep that you're losing kilos on the platform, but you also don't want to cut it close enough for any of the referees to have any reason to throw you that red light. It is a fine line to walk where you feel like you're dropping it either too deep or too high, but you never want to leave it close enough to where the referees could think they're going to throw a red. Because, listen, our referees are human. It happens so quick. You don't want to give them any reason to think that squat is no good. You only have 3 attempts, and if you get 2 red lights, that's going to affect your game plan for the day.
Bars loaded for John Ogle on platform 2. Silver Garcia on platform 1, going up 10 kilos to 507 pounds, just crossing over into that 500-pound barrier. Very clean squat here. A little bit slower than his first, but that's almost what you'd want to expect for a second attempt. Not necessarily something that is too easy. You know, you don't want to leave too much in the tank going into that third attempt, but you also don't want to make it too difficult to where you gas yourself going into that third attempt. Like you were saying, it's a very, very fine line, and that comes down to the level of mastery, discipline, consistency, and just knowledge and relationship that the lifters not only have with their coaches, but both the lifter and the coach has with the sport of powerlifting.
So Roger Keeler up next. We said he was the front runner coming into this, but only jumps 2.5 kilos. I thought the opener moved pretty good for him. We'll see what the plan is here. See if he has anything that's bothering him, maybe something tweaked, but it seemed like that opener moved pretty good for only a 2.5 kilo jump.
Good lift on platform 1 for Ethan Garcia. Matthew Gibbs up next, 540 pounds.
I mean, one thing to note about Roger Keeler is that he came into this meet with 461 as his qualifying dots. 522 is what he's projected right now. He has a 385-kilo deadlift in for his opener.
Did you say 380 or 280?
380.
Oh,
385.
okay. Excellent. Okay. Doing a little bit of background here. The squat that Roger Keeler just did at 529, that was a good lift, and that was a 2.5 kilo meet PR for him. So I imagine that small jump was just to get him into that realm. Possibly. He did hit 523 earlier this year at the Illinois State Championships. And so going into this next attempt, he did do very small jumps at that meet as well. So it's very possible, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You got to squat whatever you're comfortable with. Here's Joel Chong rocking the all-pink A7 fit. Joel Chong, a powerlifting coach out of Georgia in his own right. Exceptional powerlifter on the national stage, competed at last year's Nationals prime time. Good second attempt squat from him. Here's Alex McQuillan, 242.5 kilos. And folks, if you guys want to follow along to the action that we have going on and take a quick peek at the numbers here, shout out to, head on over to liftingcast.com/meets. Head on over to the male raw challenge for USA Powerlifting, and you'll see all of the results and all of the attempt selections as they're being put in live. And as we see them, oh goodness, good catch there by the spotters and loaders. It looks like that collar was not fastened on there completely tightly. We had the weight slipped on there. Very good catch by the spotters and loaders, making sure that, one, the weights did not fall and that our lifter was safe before that lift happened. They are going to reset the clock for him. If they don't, he is going to allow himself a relift at the very end of the flight. We see Eric Weiss taking his time, just getting set up here, resettling himself. Mark Frizzell, 12.5 kilo increase, smooth second attempt squat here. Mark Frizzell, a gamer, very used to being in the national spotlight, looking to take his place in the top 5 here, currently sitting 12th on the forecasted, but he does have a fairly big deadlift and a great bench here relative to his weight class, and that's going to factor into that dot score we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, and like you said, he's no stranger to the national stage. He knows what he's doing. He's been here before. He's not going to get scared of the moment at all. As we see Eric Weiss coming back to hit his second attempt and smokes it after taking a 20-kilo jump. Very aggressive there, but makes good work of it and puts it on the board.
And not only that, when you look at Eric, I mean, he, with Eric Weiss, I mean, his best, fumbled a little bit there, especially after having the weight slide off there, going on his second attempt, having to resettle yourself. You know, you talk a lot about the physical game, you know, being strong enough to hit your lifts, but you rarely talk about the mental games. Whenever you have to, like, reset your lift, you have to reset your approach, what does that do to the mindset?
Right, well, you have 1 minute to get out there and get the squat command, and every lifter imagines that you're going to lift the weight off and walk it out, and then you're going to be locked in, and you really focus on getting hyped up for that one moment, and then you have something happen where you have to automatically take yourself out of that hyped up zone, that mojo. So now you have to reset, actually pay attention to what's going on, and now you have to bring yourself back into that. It's hard to bring yourself in, take yourself out, and then bring yourself back in again.
Absolutely, and that just goes to, like we said, being a gamer, being an athlete, being able to be adaptable in situations that are unfavorable, and being able to put on your best performance nonetheless. That's going to be a no lift there for Jonathan Renninger on platform 1, missing 551.
Andrew Ernst jumping 20 kilos from his opener to 639 pounds. Weighed in at 88.9 kilos this morning. Dan Howell jumping up to 305 kilos, 15 kilos from his opener. 672 pounds.
551 here. Clean squat.
305 for Dan Howell on platform 2, 250 for Albert Lee on platform 1, missing his opener and still deciding to go up 12.5 kilos. Remember, Albert Lee missed it on depth, so he's going to have to get deeper here. And, you know, that's pretty tough when you're used to squatting to a certain depth all prep, and now you have to stretch that muscle to a point where it's not used to being stretched to, and still walking that line of depth here. Let's see if the judges give the lift to him. 2-1, the lift is good. Gets a red from the front referee. But he's on the board, no problem. And here comes Kevin Sonukan. 307.5, 677.
Arnold Castro on platform 1, going up 12.5 kilos, 578 pounds. Kevin Sanukin, big second attempt there, 307.5.
And we're going to move on to George Noma, taking 17.5 kilos from his opener. 320 kilos, 705 pounds. Remember, it says world record attempt, but that's just so we have the international referees on the platform, because he's going to shoot for the world record total today. And for that to happen, he needs the international referees on the platform for all 3 lifts. So while it says world record attempt, that's just to get the international referees on there. 320 kilos, 705 pounds for George Noma.
George Noma, world record total attempt. There it is, folks.
Very deep squat from George.
320 kilos. Not only is that just a world record attempt, 320 kilos is almost 700 pounds, 705 pounds. And that's a massive squat as a 90-kilo lifter. Only 198 pounds squatting into the 700s, well over 3 times body weight.
Now, George is a very good deadlifter as well, and that looked like it was a bit of work for him. It's interesting to see where he'll go for his 3rd attempt, if he'll scratch or not, or just take a very conservative jump, because you need to save that energy for your deadlifts. You don't want to gas yourself out on squats. Now, with that being said, he's an incredible squatter, so that's where he builds a lot of his total, but it'll be interesting to see where him and the Hammer Forge crew go for his 3rd attempt. Trevor Bolus fights through 307.5, taking a 17.5 kilo jump to 678.
2-1, that's going to be a good lift there. Having placed 4th in last year's Raw National Championships, Trevor Bolus looking to take the top spot here. Currently forecasted in the 7th place spot with a 503 dots. Imagine being not even forecasted in the top 5 with a 503 dots. That is just how stacked this competition is today, folks.
That 500 dots barrier is usually where we say this lifter is now elite. So we have a stacked class, and mind you, this is 500 based off of forecast just from their squats and then their openers for bench and deadlift. Those numbers are going to climb as we get in through the rest of this meet.
We've got Justin Saltz and Jacob Patterson, both our adaptive athletes here, starting off our 3rd attempts for the first flight. Justin with 99 pounds, Jacob Patterson 275. Good lift for Justin and a good lift for Jacob. Both lads finish out 3 for 3 on their squat.
Right now, as it stands for the standing purposes, George Noma is projected first with 522.4. Garrett Lockwood is projected 2nd with 522.1. Those 0.3 dots points are nothing. That is the difference between one jump, 2.5 kilos, or maybe even a half kilo. We're going to see some drama as we get into it, and we're not even in the 2nd flight yet.
Here we go, Silver Garcia into our 3rd attempts here, 240 kilos locked and loaded. John Ogle on 3, 496. John Ogle, 2-1, good lift there. He did get a side call from the referee with a blue card underneath that. So a blue card could be anywhere, so it could be one of two things. It could be up and downward motion, or it could be failure to complete the lift. So if the knees look like they're what we call soft knees, so if they come to the top of the squat and the knees don't look as if they're fully locked out to our referees, that's a blue card. Secondarily, if we notice that there's any up and downward motion for that lifter in the general range of their squat motion, that's a blue card as well.
You see Roger Keeler on 2. We want to make a correction about the placement. He was projected first because he did have a typo on his opening deadlift, which was at 385 kilos. It is now corrected to 285 kilos, which drops him back a little bit. But yes, there was a typo on his deadlift. It is now fixed. But Roderick with 245, 540 pounds.
Grind.
3 white lights lift is good. 3 white lights lift is good on platform 1 as well.
We're just cruising on up, folks, and we do have our folks divided on the platform here, kind of by relative weight class, by generally about what their openers are going to be. So on platform 1 is going to be our lighter weight folks, generally speaking. And then over on platform 2, we're going to have our heavier weight lifters.
Our standings are very tight coming out of squats for our first flight. Like we mentioned, George Noma and Garrett Lockwood just separated by 0.3 dots points. Shortly with Kevin Sanukin right behind them, 2 dots points behind him.
2 exceptional grinds on both platforms 1 and 2. Joel Chong, good lift, finishing out 3 for 3. So far, all greens across the board here for our first flight of lads on platform 2. It's not something you see very often.
Yeah, especially with squats, there's so much that can go wrong. The depth calls, the commands, which you don't typically see someone missing in command at this level, but it's still a factor. So very clean lifting, and powerlifting is better when the lifters are hitting their lifts. That's when it's the most competitive. Like we said, one failed lift can take you out of this.
There's Eric Weiss here going from a 20 kilo jump, to a 15 kilo jump. He wants to finish out at 600.76 pounds. And what a nice round number to finish out your squat run.
Yeah, finally passing that 600-pound barrier. Eric Weiss is the head coach of Rowan Powerlifting, Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey.
Just a little bit too much on the day. Lost a little bit too much juice there. But then over on platform 1, Jonathan Renninger does get back that 551 squat there. He did get called on his second for depth. He did get a depth call on that third there from one of the side judges. But like we've been saying, 2-to-1 majority rules in this sport. Mark Frizzell up next on platform 1. 10 kilo increase to 252.5. That's 556 pounds. Zachary Larmer, 290 kilos on the bar, 639 pounds. Zach Larmer, 290 kilos. That's going to be a good lift, 2-to-1. He did get called on depth from one of the side judges. And we do have a little bit of a mix-up here on platform 1. It looks like DeWitt came out.
Right, I thought I noticed that.
And Mark Frizzell's name and weight were still loaded here. Now, DeWitt is technically a little bit heavier, so he's going to put 2.5 kilos on the bar. Since he hit that weight,
that counts as his weight.
Mm-hmm.
So that would count as, or no, because he already loaded 255 in.
So if he put 255 in there, but he already hit 252, they could do one of two options here. What they could do is they're going to give DeWitt a decision here. They could allow him to keep the weight he already squatted, or they could allow him a relift at the very end of the flight. Obviously, since there's a few lifters left in the flight, he's going to get a few extra minutes just for some extra break time here. But if he chooses to do that, they're going to allow him the opportunity to hit 255. From a coaching perspective, I wouldn't do it.
No, you don't.
It's
you
just
don't
2.5 kilos.
You don't risk all that extra strain for an extra 2.5 kilos. That's getting greedy at that point. And the jury, as you see at the top of your screen, is also deliberating on this to see how to handle it. And the jury's all international referees, so they all know the rule book like the back of their hand. So we're going to get that settled on Platform 1. But for now, Platform 2, Dan Howell, who is currently projected in 6th place, 310 on the bar, 683 pounds.
5.
And yeah, he's not somebody you could take your eyes off of because he has such a strong pull and he takes such big jumps. And if he's successful here and starts building that total, don't take your eyes off of Dan Howell for today as he grinds out that squat. And
it looks good. I
not
wonder if
much
it was
struggle.
Just a tad high. Yep. Okay, so I knew at least one of the judges was going to call the depth there. He
Yeah,
did look
keep
a
your
little
eyes
bit
on the
higher
jury
than his
here.
second comparatively. But beautiful squat nonetheless. Kevin Sanukin up next, 312.5. This is 688 pounds. And it looks like what we're going to do here, Mark Frizzell, it looks like.
So they gave DeWitt the credit for 252.5. Mark Frizzell's at 255. So, no, there we go. We changed right back to 252.5 because Mark Frizzell cannot change. So what they did was they gave DeWitt the credit for 252.5, and Mark Frizzell keeps his 252.5 as well.
And so what they're going to do to keep the lifting cast going, for now what I imagine they're going to do is keep DeWitt at 252 right now. He did squat 255 technically.
Yes.
So they're going to probably
he
give that to
squatted
him.
252.5.
Oh, did he?
Yes,
Okay,
Mark's
gotcha.
attempt was at 252.5.
That, okay.
Yes, and he came out for Mark.
Correct.
He was supposed to squat 255, but there was a little bit of a mix-up. And Kevin Sanukin, 312.5 kilos, missed that, but successful, and that puts him a little bit ahead of everybody. Now, this is a big squat from George Noma, because if he misses this, I believe Kevin will out-jump him for first place currently. Or, I'm sorry, George would drop down to second place. So George Noma, 325 kilos, 716 pounds.
And things are already shaken up, and we're not even through with squats yet, folks. This is how the whole day is going to be. And we've got a whole other flight after this, too.
This is a very important lift. This could drop George Noma back one. Very deep squat.
You can't get deeper than that, folks.
And
Mark
he locks
Frizzell
it
on
out.
1, 2.
And George Noma fully in the driver's seat.
These lifters are putting on a clinic today, folks.
Albert Lee on 1, 262.5, 578 pounds. So we're heading on to Flight B for Platform 2, and this is another example of a lifter who tilts the uprights in because he's gripping on the outside of the bar. Usually these heavier weight lifters, they have those big shoulders. It's not as easy for them to work their hands in because they have so much muscle mass. So he's going to work his hands to the outside of the bar here.
Albert Lee over on Platform 1. That's going to be a no lift on depth there, so he'll register 250 for his squat onto his total. Up next, Garrett Lockwood moving into 595 pounds. Bar is loaded here.
And this is a big lift for Garrett here because remember, George Noma is at 522.4 forecasted right now. If this is successful from Garrett Lockwood, it would put him at 522.1 right on his tail. Cannot get any closer than that. Huge lift for Garrett Lockwood, 595 pounds for the 75-kilo lifter. And no,
it's not going to
that's
go
gonna
there.
Drop him back down on forecast. That might put him behind Kevin Sanukin here. Yep, that drops him to 516 on forecast. So now, as it currently stands, George Noma's at number 1 at 522.4. Then forecasted behind him is Kevin Sanukin at 520. Then behind him now Garrett Lockwood at 516.
Trevor Bolus and Daniel Hallowcreek taking up the 4th and 5th spot, and they previously were forecasted a little bit lower in the 6th, 7th, around the 7th to 8th spot, and so this just proves that you almost can never project the forecasted place. It allows us to kind of, it gives us a table of contents, for example. It allows us to narrate the story, but we take the story as it is. Arnold Castro, 600 pounds, 3 white lights, finishes off an excellent roundabout number to finish out the day.
Trevor Bolus here. He's projected in 4th right now if this is successful with 5'10". If he misses this, he'll drop behind Daniel Howell, who will creep into 4th. I told you, don't take your eyes off of Dan Howell because he does have that big pull. But a big squat here for Trevor, 317.5, 699.9 pounds. We'll call it 700. We'll give him that extra point.
We will call it 700.
699.97. Yeah, so I'll give you 700 here. Trevor Bolus.
Here you go, your 4th place finisher in last year's Raw Nationals. Simon Schott blowing up 584 for his opening attempt. Fast as it should be. Strong squat from Trevor.
Doesn't look like it's going to go. And this is like what we were alluding to earlier. A lot of times it's about who is going to hit lifts and not make the mistake. Sometimes going 9 for 9 is just the right strategy. If you shave off 2.5 kilos from what you think your top ends are and you go 9 for 9, you're cutting 7.5 kilos off your total. But let's say you overshoot by 5 each time. Now you're missing out 5 kilos here, 5 kilos there, 5 kilos there. That adds up to about 15. If you just take the conservative approach and play the long game, a lot of times you find yourself towards the top.
That's right, and that kind of another scope in which you can think of that, executing your lifts, getting to the top. The best lifters are the ones that hit their attempts. The best lifters are the ones that can be the most competitive. I mean, we even saw in the last session how important it is to hit your attempts. Kate Cohen almost at risk of bomb out, to be completely honest. Not having made those attempts left the door wide open for Madison Lewis and a few other lifters to take that spot. Had she made her lifts, that gap would have been much wider. She might have even won. Margaret Nassais might not have even beaten her out. But again, you have to make your lifts in order to make your total, and the more you build that total, the more likely you are to game as you get later on in the meet.
Luke Strong on 2 with 6:06 as his opener. Very young lifter, still a junior over here competing with all the open lifters. 3 white lights.
His name is not a pun or a username. That is his actual last name, I promise. Anthony Angelini, platform 1. Anthony out of New York. Competed at last year's Nationals, 567 pounds.
Khalil Zaki on 2, the reigning 110-kilo open national champion, opening up with 6:06. We spoke about big deadlifters. He's as good as they come.
His deadlift will be the one to watch as we go later on in our attempts. He does have the highest registered deadlift attempt at 350 kilos. As a 110-kilo lifter, so that is massive. It's going to play a huge role in the placings as we move forward. Very easy opener here, though, at 6:06, and that's always a nice aesthetic thing to see on the bar. 5 reds, a collar, nothing cleaner than
just
that.
Clean.
Here's Danny on platform 1, 578 pounds. Thomas Zayas on platform 2, 282.5 kilos, 622 pounds. Big brace from Danny.
Very
for an easy opener.
Thomas Zayas was 623.
Bars loaded over on platform 1 for Josh Onadeko, 589 pounds. We've got a full crew of spotters and loaders working with our lifters today. They've been working all day and still taking the weight on and off the bar in rapid fashion, so we want to give them their flowers. They're truly the ones that do keep this meet going.
It's not an easy job loading all that weight all day.
No, it's not. Imagine doing rack carries and plate carries and all that good stuff for 8 hours straight. I couldn't.
Lee Sealy on 2 is someone to keep an eye on here. He's projected in 5th, and that's behind everybody who's already completed all 3 of their squats already. So his opener is being compared to their 3rd attempts, and he's projected in 5th with 5:04. So with some big jumps here from Lee Sealy, we might see him sneak in there. And he does have the advantage lifting in Flight B to where he can see what everybody else does and then make the jumps from there. So he's got a real advantage, and look at that. He smokes that opener of 3:05, 672. Definitely someone to keep an eye on. Do not let him slip under the radar.
Big representative for the Strength Foundry. We're going to be excited to see how his performance carries him through.
And
up next behind him, Nathan Wilhelm. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Speaking of people to keep an eye on, Nathan's going to be a big
Yeah.
one because we got 760 as his opener. And typically when you see these heavier attempts, they make those bigger jumps. If he can make good work of this, because he's projected 8th right now with 496. If we see him creep into the 800 range, he might be creeping up on that 5th, 6th spot, maybe even up into the top 3. There's a lot of lifting to go, but it's something to take note of.
Big opener there for Sebastian Masadi on platform 1. 3 white lights for that one. Going on up to 600 pounds even for Damon Kerr. And you don't even want to, I'm almost not going to react to how fast Nathan Wilhelm's squat was, because I imagine the second attempt is probably going to move just as fast.
760 would be an incredible deadlift for anybody in their entire life, regardless of body weight, division, equipment.
For some folks, an incredible total.
Yeah. 760 opener, and it didn't even look like he broke a sweat. Wow. There's so much talent across the board, you can't even tell where anybody's going to go here.
Good lift on 1 for Damon Kerr, 600 pounds. Going on up 2.5 to 606 for Andrew Jessup. Peter Cherry on platform 2. We are confidently in the 600-pound realm.
Oh, and Peter Cherry not looking good out of the hole there. Failed it on strength. Hope everything's all right because it didn't look very comfortable coming out of the hole. Hopefully just a strength issue and not anything serious.
Andrew Jessup, 3 white lights there, representative of Reactive Training Systems, coached by Kenny Allen back here behind the curtain. And Peter Cherry is on the board with his opening attempt at 260. And again, with that missed attempt, we just hope that everything's okay there. When we see the lifter go down a little bit faster, you were alluded to that a little bit in the first session, but it just shows a little bit of inability to control the weight. Might have just been too heavy on the day. We hope that there's no injury to come from that. We'll see if he puts in a third or if he doesn't.
Ryan Hayes making some big jumps here, going from 250 to 280.
30-kilo jump. So for the folks at home that don't have a calculator up handy, that's almost a 70-pound jump from one squat to the next. Here's Patrick Owen, 622. Fast opener squat here. But he is going to get a depth call from all 3 of our judges, so that's going to be a no lift. You're going to see that a little bit more with lifters that are a little bit more explosive and play that depth card a little bit closer to the chest. It's going to be a lot harder for our referees to gauge depth, and so we want to be sure that we leave no doubt when we're looking at any of our technical standards for our referees.
We have Yuli on platform 1.
Yuli Muyaj, 290 kilos.
Excuse me, 639 pounds.
290 kilos, excuse me. I was saying both at the same time. The Brolic Graham. Man, very easy opener there. Yuli Moonlights is a firefighter, so he very much has to be strong, quick, explosive, athletic for that position. And this is just a side quest for him to showcase his strength.
Lorenzo Wright, national champion, coming in here. Huge lifter, huge squatter, 727 pounds for his opener.
And I'm going to do my very best to not show any favoritism to Lorenzo. He is my training partner. I have spotted very, very, very many of these heavy squats of his.
It's a big responsibility.
It's a little scary at times. So we're expected to see a good squat from him. And this is the battle that we're going to see, folks. A very big squat from Lorenzo right here could put him in the top standings, and a very big deadlift from Khalil Zaki.
So one thing to take note of with Khalil Zaki is that he is observing Ramadan currently. So he is fasting during this entire meet because during Ramadan, if you observe that, you have to fast from sun up to sundown, and we are currently with the sun up at 2:46 in the afternoon.
Up, yep.
And it's probably not going to set before this time is over. So, wow. I mean, incredible. You're talking no water or no food, so no pre-workout or anything. He's just...
And a lot of folks, you see people bring whole microwaves to their meet because of the their necessity for food during the meet. It's not that it's not important, but it's just an added layer of variability. Just an added. He's doing this meet on expert mode.
Right. If I miss breakfast, I'm not the same person. This guy is doing a national level meet fully fasted. Luke Strong on platform 2, 290, 639 pounds, and smokes it. Lets out a little smile. He's feeling it today.
Reese Ellison out of South Carolina, easy second attempt there at 260, followed behind by Anthony Angelini, taking us into the 600-pound realm. Platform 2, Jordan Estes, 20-kilo jump, pretty sizable jump, going from first to second. But when you have a squat like this, that's kind of already in the high 5, low 6s, and they're as easy as you're making these openers look, like you were saying, it's pretty predictable to see these large jumps, 20, 25, even 30-kilo jumps.
Right, especially at these heavier weight classes. These guys can handle it. Their body can handle it. So expect to see big jumps here. A couple of 20-kilo jumps down the stretch. 639 for Jordan.
Jordan rocking the Jordans. I can respect a man of culture. I really can.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Anthony. Big brace, 600 pounds.
Gets shifted forward a bit out of the hole, but makes good work of it anyway.
And I've been following Anthony's training for quite a while, at least the past couple of years. And coming out of the hole, he does kind of get into that bent over position. He holds the bar decently well. It's just a matter of can he keep fighting out of the hole. And so we can almost expect that fold over. For a lot of people, that can mean the difference between that bar rolling over onto their neck. Anthony's got a super strong back. So we'll see if he's able to keep that same energy going into the last attempt.
Yeah, when you have a little bit of more muscle mass on the back and being able to hold it into that shelf right on the back where you hold that low bar position, it's so important moving down the stretch, especially when you have a lifter like him that gets shifted a little bit forward and hinged over more at the hips at the bottom of the squat.
Folks, these are some big squats. I know these guys make the weights look small just because of how massive they are. Thomas, 655 pounds, just made that look super easy. That's 655 pounds. These weights are huge.
It's hard not to get numb to it because we see them time after time and time again. But it's 700-pound squat after 600-pound squat, and then you got another 7 coming soon. Lee Sealy.
I was going to say, seeing more than 4 or 5 reds on a bar is not normal.
Yeah.
This many attempts in a row.
Lee Sealy was 705, and this was who we said we need to keep our eye on. He's already climbed 2 spots from 1 to 2 as long as he hits this, and then he might climb even further. Forecasted at 513, and number 3 is Garrett Lockwood just in front of him with 516, so another jump could move him into the top 3.
And again, folks, if you all want to follow along to the action, Josh Onadeko, ooh, big grind out of 617 out of the hole. Spotters had to grab Lee for that 320 attempt.
And that's going to take a hit to Lee Seeley's position. And you're going to have to wonder what he's going to do for his third, because now with that miss, he drops down to 7th. 7th in forecast with 5:04. If he reloads it and hits it, it'll bring him back to 4. But now Dan Howell is currently sitting in 4th place where Lee Seeley was before. We move on to Nathan Wilhelm, who's attempting 804 pounds.
Sorry, I had to say it too. It's just a monumental number. I had to say it too.
We'll do it in unison.
Damon Kerr, 639, not to be outdone, making smooth work of that.
800 pounds for Nathan, and a 20-kilo jump, and you know, another even 10 kilos might move him into the top 5. So Lee Seeley reloaded his 320, so if successful, he will go to 4.
Like I was saying, folks, if you want to follow along to the action, go into liftingcast.com/meets USA Powerlifting Male Raw Challenge, and you'll get to see the beast of Nathan Wilhelm just obliterate 804 pounds. Our first 800-pound squat of the day. I don't know if it'll be our last. We've still got our third attempt squats to come up. We'll see what he puts in for his third.
It's going to be interesting because it was a bit of work for him. So maybe play the strategic role and try to keep it pushing the deadlifts, but his squat does carry a lot of his total here to where he might want to push it a little bit more.
Sebastian Masadi, 290 kilos, easy second attempt there. It's important you mention that with a lot of these larger folks that are in the higher weight classes or in the 110, 125 and higher, they're going to have bigger squats. It's a lot more common to see their deadlifts take the back seat to that just because their squats are going to be a lot stronger. And so all the more important for them to set the tone early.
Oh, what
to start their squats early.
Cherry. That paused in the middle of the hole. 600 pounds. Oh, and he gets an up and down call.
Andrew Jessup, 639, easy work. Simon Schott moves up to 650 pounds, 295 kilos. Here's Patrick Owens. He did miss his opening attempt on depth. Went up to 290. Looks like he took it a lot deeper here, but he was a little bit bouncy on the stand-up. Are the referees good? Yep, and they do. 3 white lights. Like we were saying, we want to be sure we get the knees fully locked out there, but he showed the referees that, so that's a good attempt for him. Big squat for Simon Schott.
650 pounds. Moving.
Here's Justin Lee taking 639 pounds himself. It's a very explosive squat Justin Lee has. 3 white lights there. Here's the Deadlift specialist, Khalil Zaki. And to have a big deadlift, you gotta have a big squat too.
Yeah, very similar musculature used in both of those lifts. 650 pounds for Khalil. And then 683 for Yuli on 1. And unfortunately, no lift for Khalil.
Good grab there by the spotters and loaders.
Yuli locks his out. 683, the lift is good.
And it's good we didn't, I would almost say it's good. I mean, not good that Khalil missed that last squat, but almost good that he chose not to really grind that out all that much. How much do you think that's going to affect his deadlift?
It'll be interesting to see because, like we said, it's similar musculature, but he didn't let himself grind it out too much before just saying, you know what, it's not there, let the spotters take it. So hopefully it doesn't fry him too much. So we head on to Luke Strong, who's at 300 kilos, 661 pounds for the junior lifter. And Luke Strong just smokes 300 kilos, 661.
Just under the number of the power lifter.
Yeah, Gino's looking at that a little upset, not that extra 2.5.
Here's Lorenzo Wright. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift on depth across the board from all three of our referees, and that's going to affect the placings a little bit. Lorenzo at one point was projected within the top 5. That's going to knock him back down into 10th.
Wow.
Currently sitting in the 493 dots points. His best squat ever, 360. He does have the American record squat for the 100 kilo weight class. He was looking to try and break that today. I wonder what that schedule is going to look like, if they're going to take that same weight again, if we take a small jump, or if Lorenzo just says, heck it, let's go ahead and go all the way. Yep, so we saw he put in 352.5 there, so just a little bit under his best. We want to be sure we get something on the board.
Both Ryan and Reese lock theirs out, get the 3 white lights.
It is a multi-man job having to move this rack in and out with as much weight there is on the bar. Again, another shout out to our spotters and loaders. They have been working all day. Here's Anthony Angelini coming up as casual as ever, 611.8 pounds, 277.5. It's a big number for Anthony. Jordan with the Jordans on platform 2, 660 pounds for his last attempt. Anthony gets that big brace, comes out of the hole, gets a little bit bent over, got the big back, keeps the strength all the way to the stand-up. Same with Jordan on platform 2. Do we have whites across the board?
Bang.
Yes, we do.
Lee Seeley reattempting his second attempt of 320 that he missed on strength. This is huge to keep him in contention for the podium as he sits forecasted at 4th. If he misses, I believe this will drop him down to forecasted at 8th. So huge attempt for him here. 705, 320 kilos to stay in contention for that podium.
Here's Danny on platform 1, 628 pounds. Lee makes his way up to 705 pounds, retaking that second attempt, looking to push that total and get himself on the upper podium. Danny stands up 628 very well, 3 white lights for him.
Oh, and wow, what a fight from Lee. I can't believe he got that based off of the second attempt. And the 3 white lights, he gets it on the board. And that was very important for his placement today. 513 forecasted dots, just ahead of Nathan Wilhelm, who's forecasted at 510, given that this attempt is successful. But remember, Nathan's second attempt was also very tough. So 5 kilos may be a lot.
Wow, I mean, you want to talk about digging deep. Having missed that second attempt on strength, coming back on the third and just blowing it up.
I thought he potentially might scratch by the way that second move, but comes back, gets in the zone and hits it and keeps himself alive.
Good catch there by the spotters for Joshua on platform 1 here. Nathan Wilhelm just pushing the envelope. This will be our heaviest squat of the day, 815 pounds.
And he starts to oscillate a bit. And
that's going to be a no
depth.
lift.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit high. And it looks like the refs agree. Jury's not doing anything. He's not going to the jury.
And now, interesting point to make, when there is a unanimous decision by the referees and you still choose to elect to go to the jury, one, very low possibility that they're going to overturn that.
Absolutely.
But two, a little bit of a reloading mishap there for the spotters and loaders. Good grab there. But you also got to throw a little bit of money down, I believe.
Yes, yeah, you have to put up, I believe it's $100, and if your challenge is successful, you actually get it back. But this is just to prevent anybody from just protesting any lift that they want and just seeing what will happen, because otherwise we'd have everybody protesting every single failure that goes on by any technicality, and we don't want to slow the meet down. So if you truly feel that way, you have to put up the money and make sure that you're being serious. You're not just, patronizing at that point. And like I said, if your challenge is successful, you get the money back. You get to keep the money.
Here's Patrick Owens, 300 kilos, 661 pounds. Did miss his opener on depth. Able to get nice and low for this last attempt here. The judge is going to give him a good lift. They do. 3 white lights. Justin Lee up next, going to take the same weight. And now I'm looking at Patrick Owens and I'm looking at Justin Lee here. Patrick Owens and Justin Lee, they're taking the exact same weight. Both are taking 300 kilos. Does it matter who goes first?
Yes, so at weigh-ins they're assigned, or maybe a week before weigh-ins they're assigned a lot number, and that is just randomly assigned based off of the system that we have in LiftingCast, and the lower lot number will go first. So Patrick Owens' lot number is 424, Justin Lee's lot number is 432. They both attempt 300 kilos. Patrick Owens goes first.
That's right. In a normal powerlifting competition, that does factor into the total. However, for this meet, we are using dots as our primary scoring marker here. That is, once again, based off of a coefficient that we put into an app for each of our lifters that puts everyone on an equal playing scale in terms of weight lifted, body weight, and gender. Here's Sebastian Masati taking his last attempt, 672 pounds. That's a nice round number. Here's Sebastian, beautiful third attempt. Great call by the handler there.
Oh, yeah.
Up next, Andrew Jessup, 3 white lights. Oh, sorry, Andrew Jessup taking his third attempt. Excuse me, that was 3 white lights for Sebastian Machadi.
So same situation here, same weight loaded up. Sebastian's lot number is 416, Andrew's is 417. So Sebastian goes first, Andrew comes second. And where this comes into play with, oh man, what a fight!
What a fight!
What a fight!
Come on, Andrew Jessup. Best grind of the day. I'm calling it here.
And I don't think it can be beat, because that was, what, 10 seconds? And he gets the 3 white lights.
Wow.
But back to what I was saying about the lot number advantage. Let's say we have the same exact situation later on where 2 people tie in total. The first tiebreaker goes to body weight. The second tiebreaker goes to who hit it first. So let's say they're the same exact body weight, same exact total. Whoever had the lower lot number come deadlift time, if they had the same deadlift attempt, that would be the winner because they did it first. Whoever registered the total first.
Yuli Muyai on platform 1 here, 7:05 on the bar. Odonata Powerlifting, see Mark Doherty in the corner handling. Just a little bit too much there on the day for Yuli. What a fight there. Good grab there by the spotters and loaders. And here we go, our last squat of the day, Mr. Lorenzo Wright, going up to 777 pounds. You want to talk about angel numbers? You want to talk about lucky numbers? Play the slots. This is it.
So this is big for Lorenzo because if he hits this, he'll be forecasted at 6th. If he misses, he only gets credit for the 330, which means he'll get bumped down to 11th place on forecast.
Now, Lorenzo needs to absolutely bury this squat. This is something that he and I ourselves have been working on. I know he and his head coach, Heather Foss, in the corner have been working on it as well, but he's got big legs, and like we were saying earlier, that can obstruct the field of view for our judges. So you've got to make it that much more undeniable. Let's see if Lorenzo can get on the board here and push himself within striking distance of the top 5.
Our last squatter of the men's session.
I've seen him squat this a few times. I know he's got it.
Oh, what a fight, Lorenzo.
Come on, Lorenzo, get in there. 2-1, there it is, folks. Lorenzo's on the board. We are back within range. And folks, that's going to round out our competition of the squats for the male draw challenge here at the Arnold Sports Festival. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, probably about a 5-minute break before we get the action back up going on platform 2. So we'll see you in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. And we are back for our action of the bench press here for the Male Rod Challenge for USA Powerlifting here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Again, this is the bench press. My name is Nick Stevens.
And I'm Lance London.
And we are going to be giving you as best action or our analysis of the action as we can. So we'll be going over the rules, regulations, everything for the bench press. Across the general environment of the meet, sure, the bench press is a little bit low energy, but it is anything but that. So let's talk a little bit about, from a referee standpoint, what we're looking for here.
Right, so 3 commands on the bench press. They're going to unrack it on their own, or they can choose to get a lift off from our designated spotter. It has to be the spotter that we designated for that particular platform. It can't be your coach, can't be a buddy of yours. It has to be that spotter. So you see the lift off here, given from our spotter and loader. He's going to sit with his arms locked. He'll get the start command from the chief referee, lower it down, wait for that motionless, then he'll get the press command from the chief referee, and now he's got to lock it back out and get the rack command. So three commands: start, press, rack. A couple things we're looking for on the bench. The butt has to remain in contact with the bench throughout the entire lift. The feet have to be flat on the floor, and once you start, once you're fully locked out, that's when you can start, and then you have to bring that fully back to lock out again. Your elbows cannot be soft.
Up first for Platform 2, we have our adaptive athletes. Jacob Peterson had a good opening attempt there at 55 kilos. Up next, Mr. Thomas Bish taking 85 kilos, 187 pounds.
So right now we only have Platform 2 running. Platform 1 still on their 10-minute break between squat and bench. They will come in about 3 minutes, finish a little bit later than our Platform 2 did, so they still get the liberty of that 10-minute break, and then they will come in, like I said, in about 3 minutes.
It's very possible that will kind of be the case throughout the rest of this meet. Platform 1 does just have a few more lifters in total on their day, so if you see us switching back and forth, or if you see one platform or switch from a dual screen to a single screen, that's why a platform is just getting done before the other. But we're going to be staying on until the last platform ends, giving you all the action until the very end here. Joel Chong starting off his opener bench, 145 kilos, 319 pounds. Joel Chong, coached of Forge S&P out of Georgia.
So again, the press command we're looking for is going to be once the bar is motionless on the chest. So it's not a certain amount of time that bar has to remain on the chest. It's just until it's motionless, and then the chief referee will give the press command.
That's a common misconception that a lot of folks have with powerlifting, especially getting into the sport. You know, you have to hold the bench press for a certain amount of time, 1, 2, 3 seconds. You just have to hold it to a point where the referee sees that bar has stopped. That can, and that's up to you. That can be anywhere from half a second to 3 seconds if you have a more sink heavy press. And so again, all up to your preference, what you're stronger at, but you also have to play within the rules of the standard of the sport. Dan Howell, easy opener there at 341.
And it's important to remember that these are human referees and not robots. So it's not going to be the same press command every time, and it's not even going to be the same press command from referee to referee. Some might be slower, some might be quicker. It's all up to there is a little bit of a human error there. So the good coaches know that if you're in flight B, you want to check out how the referee is giving the press commands on your specific platform. Because if they're giving quicker press commands, you might be at more of a liberty to push the bench. If they're giving slower press commands, you might have to draw back your attempt calls a little bit more.
Here's Eric Weiss opening with 341 pounds. Electing to go self-lift off here. Like you were mentioning, lifter does have the preference to have a lift off or not.
If you can get comfortable taking self-lift off, sometimes it's a little bit more advantageous that way because you're not relying off the spotter and loader that you don't know to give you the perfect handoff or what you consider to be the perfect handoff. A lot of people like it differently, but if you get somebody that kind of just throws it at your chest and you're used to a light lift off, that could throw you off. So the consistency behind doing it on your own can be an advantage.
And we are starting up our action over on platform 1 here. They are finished with their 10-minute break. Only about a few lifters behind, so I'd say we're still making good time. Justin Saltz is going to start us off with a 37.5 kilo opener, 82 pounds. John Ogle on platform 2 is going to take 347 pounds. Very quick to the chest there. Oh, can he get the right arm locked out?
Wow.
It's not looking like it there, so that's going to be a no lift for Justin.
So important thing to take note of here is that the bar can lock out unevenly. It just can't go up and down. So even if he were to lock out that left arm, if he were to get it up, he'd be okay. As long as that bar didn't dip up and down, you can go unevenly.
Here's Mr. George Noma, 162.5 kilos on the bar. This is going to be a world record attempt for his weight class, 358 pounds.
So we see that at the bottom of the screen, the ticker saying world record total in progress. George thinks he has a shot at the world record total. So we need to have all 3 international referees on the platform for each of his attempts.
Over on platform 1, Dot Win, 115, 253 pounds. That's an easy press there. Kevin Sanukin up next, 380 pounds. Getting the bar loaded up here for Ethan Garcia on platform 1 here. Want to make sure you get the safeties loaded at the right heights here.
Kevin Sanukin and George Noma, 2 lifters to keep an eye on as they're separated by 2 dots points here. Like I said, it's going to come down to who can hit their lifts, who can execute.
All right, bars loaded for Ethan Garcia, 303 pounds. Kevin Sanukin here taking 380 for his opening attempt. Very wide grip here, but not what we would call a very technical bench. So he doesn't have a super high arch here. So his arms are going to do a little bit more of the work here.
3 white lights for Kevin. George Noma jumped 10 kilos. It's going to be interesting to see where Kevin jumps to. If he's paying attention to George's jumps as well and judging his based off of him. Sometimes you don't want to get caught in that game of catch-up, though. A lot of times it can be a pretty good strategy to just ride that line and just wait for your opponent to mess up. But George has a very good track record of hitting lifts. So if you know your opponent that well and you've done your scouting properly, you might approach it differently.
And again, that goes into just making your lifts and being able to execute. You know, the more you're able to build your total, we saw it in the last session as well. The more you're able to play your own game and you play off other people's mistakes, that can be the difference between third and first.
Yeah, ride that line.
Trevor Bolus here coming off a big squat, starting off with an opener bench here at 380, very clean. Zach Larmer taking his opening bench attempt at 424 pounds as an opener. That seems pretty nice. Must be pretty cool. I actually got to attend a coaching mentorship a little while back with Zachary Larmer. Very intelligent coach in his own right. So if folks are looking for a knowledgeable coach, check him out.
It's always good to learn from different coaches and get a different perspective.
Jonathan Renninger also taking 308, very easy there.
Even noticed as a coach, for people whose programming philosophy you might not even agree with, you can actually learn a different skill from them, even if you guys are on totally different sides of the spectrum. So it's always good to touch base with different coaches. For any of you young coaches getting into powerlifting coaching out there, always look to learn something from another coach.
It's important too when you're looking at the sport in general, not just from the coaching standpoint, but from, as a lifter, you always want to be a student, right?
Absolutely.
Here's Silver Garcia, easy opener there, again 308. Andrew Ertz taking his opener at 429. But you want to always be a student. You want to be okay with learning. You want to be okay with failing. You don't want to think you're the best at anything because, and I'll quote one of my favorite movies here, you can't learn anything if you know everything already.
Absolutely. Never want to be the smartest person in the room.
All right, here's DeWitt here, taking 330 for his opening attempt.
Remember, DeWitt had that bit of a fiasco on the squat where he came out for Mark Fresel's attempt, and then he ended up getting the credit for 252 and a half. And we speak about the mental game of powerlifting as well, and trying to keep your head in the game after something like that happening, it's going to be pretty tough. And we preach this short-term memory. Squats its own meat, bench is its own meat, and then deadlift its own meat. Let your coach make the attempt calls, and you just worry about lifting on the platform.
That's right. Jacob Peterson here getting all the support from the crowd. He's going to start off our second attempts on platform 2. Easy opener there for DeWitt. Very nice job, Jacob Peterson.
And Jacob giving us a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier, where you can lock out unevenly as long as the bar does not dip down. As long as it's one straight movement up and not going up and down, you can unlock it. You can lock out unevenly.
Alex McQuillan on 1, 341 pounds. Got a few more openers left over on platform 1. Alex McQuillan followed by Albert Lee, Mark Frizzell, Arnold Castro, and then Garrett Lockwood. A lot of strong openers here from our men in this opener flight.
I'm telling you, as soon as deadlift comes around, we're going to have a lot of drama. If you look at our top 5 lifters, which is where the payouts happen, they're only separated from 1 to 5 by 15 dots points. That could be the difference in one failed lift. So we're going to see some drama, especially with these heavyweight lifters and these heavy deadlifts. People who are taking 20-kilo jumps, that could take you out of it right away.
Here's Albert Lee over on platform 1. We'd like to get a lift off here. 341 pounds. It's good practice too, and like we were saying, lifter preferences. If you're someone that wants a self-lift off, absolutely, go ahead and do that. If you're someone that wants to prefer a lift off no matter what, it's important. It's good practice to want to be able to train that. Have different people give you your lift offs.
Right. It should never be your buddy every single time, because your buddy's going to give you the best lift off that because you're training with them every day. Go around the gym, get different people to give you lift offs. This way, when you get into the meet, if someone gives you something that you're not really used to, you can still adapt because you're used to adapting to it from day to day.
That's right, and that was a missed lift for Albert Lee on platform 1. He did get 2 yellow cards underneath that from the side judges. Very possible, and when we see situations like that, it's possible that the butt probably came out of contact with the bench press, so you got to keep full contact there.
Right, like we spoke about, the butt must remain in contact with the bench from start to rack, and the yellow card can mean a multitude of things, but usually when you see the yellow card from 2 side referees, they have the best view, that side view of the butt coming up off the pad. The chief referee really doesn't. So usually an indicator that the butt came off. Dan Howell, 162 and a half, 358.
Got a little bit of a hang up here on platform 1. Mark Frizzell has the weight loaded here, 157 and a half. He did in fact bench it. Might have been just a little bit of a load up here on LiftingCast. Arnold Castro is next. Okay, so yeah, we were just waiting on LiftingCast for the lights.
I was going to say, if Mark has another issue, we have
sorry,
the
Mark.
wrong weight loaded.
Over on platform 2, we're on to our second attempts. Eric Weiss taking 162 and a half, 358. There's Arnold Castro with 358, the exact same weight.
Arnold Castro, Arnold competing at the Arnolds.
It is written, as they say. A little bit heavier there for Eric Weiss on the day.
Not something you want to see on your second attempt. Missing on strength. Be interesting to see how he approaches his third. Remember, once you register that attempt in and you actually attempt it, you cannot go back down. You can only reattempt or go up. So he does have the option to scratch, but it's going to be tough.
Here's Garrett Lockwood. Now, Garrett, one of those folks that we are looking at in the top 5, currently sat in third provisionally, just off of this opening here. So should he make that, he'll stay there. Wow, very smooth.
He might be able to take a big jump there and then work his way back into that top 2 position. We'll see what he decides to do here. With Kevin Sanukin just in front of him taking a 5-kilo jump, I think Garrett might be able to take 10 and close that gap a little bit from 5:23 and 5:16. As we look at our #1 forecasted lifter here, George Noma. The meat is in his hands right now.
And here's George again, another world record attempt for his second bench.
So this is, we need the international referees on the platform because George is trying to build up to that world record total. Oh, does luck out a little bit unevenly, but I don't believe it dipped down. It was a bit of work, and you could see with him kind of hanging his head on that one. I don't think that's how he expected it to move. We'll see what he decides to go up with. I think George taking a conservative jump would probably be the right move for him here because, like I said, he's very well in control of this meet right now. He just needs to hit lifts. So good chance he's going to play it conservatively and just get another lift on the board rather than making a big jump. Because Kevin Sanukin here coming up next only took 5 kilos. You wouldn't expect Kevin to take a bigger jump than he did from 1 to 2. So we'll see how it's approached here moving down the stretch. And this is where having a good coach, you know, George, coached by Coach Jake Karboski, he's been in the game for maybe 6 years now, coached multiple national level athletes. And as it shows here with George in #1 at the Arnolds, very successful. Kevin Sanukin making that attempt look good.
Dot weight over on 1, same thing. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift there. 3 yellows from all the judges there, and that's very possible. We saw probably a miscommand there. Probably it's missed the rack command. That's very possible, very common thing that happens. And so just another thing you have to remember, you know, that's another thing you have to remember when you're training. You have to give yourself that extra pause, think rack before you bring that bar in.
Right, and you know, something that you don't come to expect from lifters at this level, but you're never immune to it. Sometimes that big stage gets to you and you forget the basics.
Three white lights there for Jonathan Renninger on 1. There's Roger Keeler on 2. Big bench there for Roger Keeler. Again, not another one of those technical benches. He doesn't have a super high arch. That's going to be 2-to-1 no lift. What'd you see there?
I think this was a heave. So this is something that is such a small thing to notice from the referees, and it's so hard because it happened so quickly. Right off the chest, he went back into his chest and then pressed it off instead of pressing straight off. You can't dip it back down into the chest to get that extra heave in there. It's so hard for some of these referees to see because they're paying attention to a bunch of different things, especially the butt remaining in contact with the pad. And usually when that butt pops off, it's right as they press it. So it's so hard to look at the bar and the butt at the same time. But great job by the referees catching that. I wasn't sure if they would get it. From our perspective, it's easy because we're looking straight down the line. But from their perspective on the sides, it's very hard. So very good call.
It's important to note that you caught that. The side referee called that the yellow, so for that heave. The head referee called a little bit of that up and down, and when you do have a little bit of that heave, you're inevitably going to have up and downward motion.
It's essentially the same thing. It's essentially an up and down, so it can almost go either way.
Good call there by our referees. Little something to react there for Roger Keeler for something for his third attempt. We're still waiting to see what he puts in for his third.
It was particularly easy. It's just one of those small fixes to make, and it was ever so slight too. So have to think he'd be able to fix it, and if he reloads, he should be able to hit it.
We've had a slew of good second attempt benches here. Ethan Garcia, Matthew Gibbs, 145 and 147.5 kilos respectively. Solid work there. Garcia number 2, Silver Garcia, taking 325 pounds. And a good lift there for Andrew Ernst on 2 with 451 pounds, taking us back to the top of the order for third attempt benches. Good lift there for Silver on 1. Trevor Bolus up next.
He's sitting just outside of that top 5 with a 5'10" forecasted dots. Right in front of him is Lee Seeley with 5'13". So if Trevor can just hit from here on out, he should be able to squeeze in there if need be by loading up a pretty big deadlift at the end. Remember, our payouts go from 1 to 5. So everybody in that top 5 is getting paid out for some sort. First place is going to walk away with $2,000. Second place, $1,000. Third place, $750. Fourth, $500, and fifth, $250. So a lot of money on the table here.
That's a solid attempt there on platform 2 from Jacob Peterson. Unfortunately, not going to get there for our third attempt bench. And that's going to be a no lift for Trevor Bolus, 2-1 from the side judges. We're going to see a yellow card underneath that. That's going to very likely be butt losing contact with the bench. And those referees, they're sat directly on the side of the bench. They've got direct eye line of view. And so they can see if there's any sort of daylight that comes under that bench, they're going to call it. Albert Lee on platform 1 going to retake 330 here. Thomas Bish for his third attempt on 2, going for 209 pounds. Solid work there for Thomas. Here's Albert. Looked clean to me.
There we
So
go,
for the
3 white
judges,
lights. He's in the meat.
it's a no lift there for Thomas, unfortunately, so he'll finish with 90 kilos on his total there from bench. Important to note here when we get into these third attempt benches, not that it's an unfortunate thing, I mean it is, but the third attempt bench is the most frequently missed lift across all 9 powerlifting attempts. And so it could mean the very difference between 2.5 kilos. We see Joel Chong here, that he went up 2.5 kilos, the smallest increment there. This could move just about the same as the second attempt, very smoothly. Or it could not move at all. We're hoping that it moves just as well. Here's DeWitt over on platform 1, taking 347. Smooth press out there. Here's Joel for his third, 2.5 kilos. You see, that was a lot tougher, and that's the difference that 5 pounds can make just loading on that bar there.
It's such a technical lift, and it's so much weight in your hands, and you forget that that extra 5 pounds could affect you that much. But good on Joel to have the wherewithal to know I'm only going to take that extra 2.5 kilos and just keep building that total.
Bars loaded up next on 1 for Alex McQuillan, 165 kilos, 363 pounds.
Eric Weiss on 2, reattempting his second attempt. He failed his second on strength. Hopefully can find that grind to get this one on the board.
Strong press here for Alex. Decently slow for a second attempt. A little bit of an uneven press out there. Judges hopefully don't see any up and downward movement, and they don't. 3 white lights there.
Just not there for Eric Weiss today on bench.
Up next, Dan Howell going up 5 kilos, up to 369 pounds.
It's a big lift for him, likely with a miss from him and then a hit from Trevor Bolus. Trevor would jump him for that 4th spot in forecast. So big lift to keep his lead going. Let's see if Dan can execute here.
Excellent press out there from Mark Frizzell, 167.5. Again, 369, 3 white lights. As we're cruising into our third attempts here, some of our folks on platform 2, we're going to see how these placings are going to start to shake out. Dan Howell sat in 4th.
Oh, great fight from Dan.
That's going to put him there. Keep in mind, we've still got couple lifters in our second flight over on platform 1 that could come into play, and Khalil Zaki later on in the flight.
Yeah, George Noma taking a 2.5 kilo jump. Definitely the smart move. That second didn't move too good. And we spoke about it before. George, he hits lifts, and this is where it comes in. Making the smart attempt calls and just building that total over time. And this is how you stay in that first place spot and don't drop down. Currently forecasted in first with 530 as a dot score. A little shaky on the unrack. And he locks it out.
What a fight there from George Noma.
This is what we said. He hits lifts. This is what he does, and this is why he's so good.
Garrett Lockwood has an answer for that, though. He's still got 2 more attempts. About to take his second attempt at 402.
Oh, man.
That was fast. Garrett Lockwood currently sat in third.
And that's big for Garrett right there. That's big. Because he might be able to take another 7.5 and shake some stuff up, especially with Kevin Sanukin just in front of him with 4 points ahead of him.
Kevin Sanukin's only 2 benches out over on platform 2.
We still have some little technical difficulties with our LiftingCast on platform 2. So this is not George Noma. George Noma just went. We should be at John Ogle, who also has 175 kilos, 385 pounds for John. So hopefully that graphic will update soon as we get those. And no lift for John Ogle.
It's going to be a no lift there for Justin Saltz as well on platform 1. Dot Win's going to come up next, retaking 122.5.
Oh, George Noma's bench did not pass.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure what the call was for George. Oh, wait. That might have been for John Ogles. We'll see how. We'll see how the LiftingCast updates. I believe George's was a good lift. It looked good in my eyes. We'll see how it ends up. John's was definitely a no lift because he missed on strength. But we'll see how that shakes things up here.
Give the LiftingCast a bit to catch up here. Over on platform 1, Dot Win, again, retaking 122.5, 270 pounds.
And yes, we have our chief referee in the back room trying to fix LiftingCast right now on platform 2. So we're going to hold off on platform 2 right now because our chief referee is in the back room with us right now, working on getting that LiftingCast fixed up. So a little bit of a halt on 2.
Tough go there on bench for Dot Win on platform 1. He will register a bench there with 115. Fortunately, not making either of those 2 attempts. We're going to go on to Jonathan Renninger. He's going to go up to 330 pounds. $150 kilos. Bar is loaded.
So I believe George's will get overturned, but as it stands, our top 3, George, Garrett, and Kevin, 528, 527, 526. 1 point, 1 point, 1 point.
The lift is good for Jonathan Renninger. 3 white lights there. He'll come away 3 for 3 on bench, which in and of itself is a feat. Like I was saying, those 3 to 10 benches can be real hairy sometimes.
Absolutely.
So good on Jonathan. Excellent play calling there from himself and his handler there. Ethan Garcia is going to come up next, going to take the same weight.
And
We'd almost think this is a sign from the powerlifting gods. We're almost evening the time
I was
out
just
here.
about to say that. We spoke about the platform 2 moving so much quicker. Now they're giving platform 1 the opportunity to catch up now.
All right, looks like we're getting things loaded back up here now. So I do imagine, like you're saying, I do imagine they're going to go ahead and overturn George's lift. John Ogle.
So to keep you updated, because we have our camera down on platform 1, Ethan Garcia's attempt of 150 was no good. Got 2 yellows from the front and the side. Not exactly sure what happened because we missed it due to the camera being down, but as it stands, technical error.
This is Kevin Sanukin on platform 2. Clock is still running. This is 175. Or sorry, no, this is, wait a minute.
No, that was Kevin
Are we
Sanukin.
positive that Kevin took the correct weight? All right, well, on platform 1, Matthew Gibbs going to be taking his third attempt here at 152. Two to 1, that is going to be a good lift. Roger Keeler's up next, taking 182.5 kilos.
So I believe we are a little bit behind on LiftingCast. Kevin Sanukin's 182.5 kilos was successful. So this is not Kevin Sanukin here. This is Roger Keeler, who is attempting 182.5.
That's unfortunately going to be a no lift there. Here's Trevor Bolus on platform 1, taking 155 after missing his second attempt. Beautiful press out on the third. Trevor Bolus, again, one of those could be shooting into the top spot here. 2 to 1, goes 2 for 3 on bench. That puts him sitting well and good momentum going into the deadlift here.
So we are updated on platform 2 now. George Noma, 175 kilos, successful. John Ogle, 175 kilos, unsuccessful on strength. Kevin Sanukin, 182.5 kilos, successful. Roger Keeler, 182.5 kilos, unsuccessful. So we're back and we're up and running and we're all even now. So where that leaves our standings, George Noma at number 1 with 530. Garrett Lockwood at number 2 with 527. Kevin Sanukin at number 3 with 526. Silver Garcia, no lift on strength.
Platform 2, Zachary Larmer here, 2 to 1. That's going to be a good lift. He'll finish out 3 for 3. Andrew Ernst coming up right behind with 210 kilos. We do have a little bit of technical difficulty on platform 1. It looks like we do have the camera back already. Good work there by our very quick Barbell Productions team. Looks like we are out again. So we're going to get to work on that. Once we get a stable stream there, we will get back to you. We will be narrating the action on through LiftingCast as that develops. So keep on the lookout for that. Here's Andrew Ernst, though, platform 2.
As it stands right now on platform 1, DeWitt is up with 162.5 kilos.
Good press out there from Andrew Ernst. And that's going to be a good lift. He's going to take us into our second flight of lifters over on platform 2. DeWitt to Fesse, that is a good lift for him. He'll finish out with 162.5 kilos, 358 pounds.
Alex McQuillan now up on platform 1 with 167.5 kilos. Luke Strong on platform 2, opening up with 157.5 kilos, and we are back up and running with both of our streams.
Here we go, just in time for Alex McQuillan. 369 pounds. Luke Strong taking his opening attempt at 347 pounds. Can he find the press out? He's got the right arm locked out. Can he get the left? He does. Do we see any up and down motion for Alex McQuillan?
3 white lights. It is good.
Up next on platform 2, Jordan Estes. Jordan in the Jordans. This time he's rocking the Advances, excuse me. 170 kilos, 374 pounds. Albert Lee on platform 1 taking the same weight.
Big jump from Albert Lee, 15 kilos from 2 to 3.
Well, he did miss that opener on technicality, came back, got the second attempt, moved fairly quickly. That is a big jump though, so we'll see how he reacts.
Very nice.
Slow as expected, he was still able to lock it out. That's going to be a good lift for him. The dreadlift specialist Khalil Zaki coming up on 2, 180 kilos for his first attempt. And Arnold Castro on 1, going for 385 for his last bench of the day.
Nice opening attempt from Khalil.
What a grind out there for Arnold. Arnold at the Arnold, 3 white lights. He's having a great day thus far. It's almost like it is written. 6 for 6 thus far through squat and bench. Up next, Mark Frizzell looking to keep the torch lit. He's going to take the same weight at 385 pounds. Bars loaded for Thomas Zayas. Here he comes, platform 2, 418 pounds. Strong press from Mark Frizzell. Can he get the triceps engaged? He does.
What a grind.
And that's a national level effort from a national level athlete. Mark Frizzell, 3 white lights.
Big lift coming up for Garrett Lockwood on 190 kilos, 418 pounds. If he misses this, he'll drop out of forecasted second, and Kevin Sanukin will jump in front of him. If he hits this, he'll be at 527, which is just 1 point ahead of Kevin Sanukin currently.
Now Kevin Sanukin has finished registering all of his benches, so this is Garrett Lockwood's to lose here. Oh, exceptional call from the coach there. Garrett Lockwood locks out at 418 pounds, 3 white lights, stays in provisional second.
So our top 3 lifters on forecast all done with their squats and benches, and they are not separated by much. George Noma sitting alone at the top at 530, Garrett Lockwood at second with 527, and Kevin Sanukin in third with 526. Gonna see some shaking up once it comes to deadlifts.
In this flight here on platform 2, Lee Seeley here taking his first attempt here, 440 pounds. Lee Seeley, Nathan Wilhelm, and just a few lifters, both looking to get their way into that top 5 position.
Don't take your eyes off of Lee Seeley here. He's got a huge pull. 345 is his opener on deadlift.
Second largest opener on the day.
Yeah, so he's going to be pulling last or towards the end, which means he might have the final say of these top lifters. And he's going to take big jumps for sure. And
not for nothing, that was fast. 2-1, good lift there. I don't necessarily know what that yellow card could have been. Might have seen some daylight from the side referee there. Still looked good to me. A tad shaky at lockout, so that's probably going to be that sticking point there.
A lot of times when you see a lifter that's powerful off the chest, you got to be careful with those big attempt calls because you'll see them just lose that gas.
We had a good opening attempt for Patrick Owens on platform 2. He started off with 330. Sebastian Masadi right behind him, taking 347.
Peter Cherry making 451. Move real good.
When we talk about attempt changes, there's a number of different strategies that these handlers and these lifters can employ whenever they're trying to get as much weight on the bar. Like we were saying earlier, it's unfortunately likely that you might miss your 3rd attempt. The odds are you might miss it. And so being able to plan your first attempts intelligently and then being able to read that lift, both as a lifter and as a handler, to be able to determine how far you want to go on that second. That second attempt is going to be crucial, but it does start with these openers here.
And Reese makes 374 fly.
Let's watch Ryan Haig.
463. I mean, we're seeing a lot of easy openers. We're going to see these guys climb up in the rankings because they're going to make some big jumps. So we head on to Nathan Wilhelm. He put on a show on squats, ended out with 804 on the squat and opening with 534 on the bench. We talk about 400 pounds being a lifetime goal on bench, 500 pounds being a lifetime goal on bench. He's opening up with 534, well past 500. We might see him push the upper 500 envelope. I mean,
and Nathan Wilhelm's a well-rounded lifter in his own right. I mean, coming off a 365 squat, opening well into the 500s on bench. He's got a 315 deadlift loaded. That's a very well-rounded total. That could put him in a very nice place going into the top 5. Little bit of a slower opener there.
Right.
Clean, confident, smooth, a little bit slow. We'll see what that play call is there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Remember, he missed his 3rd squat. So you want to get all your attempts registered here because you don't want to miss out on any more.
Good lift for Danny on platform 1, 177.5 there. Same for Justin Lee right before. Up next, Anthony Angelini, 396-pound opener. And Luke Strong over on platform 2. He's going to take 363 for his 2nd attempt. And we see Anthony Angelini signaling to the head referee that he's a little bit hard of hearing, so he wants to be sure that the referee, he can hear that press command or all the commands from the referee. So he's instructed that referee to give those commands a little bit louder. If this doesn't work for his opener, maybe he has a little bit more issues, the referee can come up a little bit closer, give the lifter a nice little tap on the shoulder.
And Luke Strong just set a 7.5 kilo PR.
Oh,
excuse
wow.
me, 5 kilo PR on his 2nd. He's made a lot of progress. He squatted 300 kilos earlier, and his best before that was 287 in a meet. A lot of progress made in training.
Strong bench there from Anthony, 396, very easy.
It's actually Luke's first national level meet.
Strong. It's almost impossible to not make that pun, Luke. If you watch this back, I apologize. Josh Onodeko opening up with 402 pounds. And Jordan on platform 2 taking 385 pounds.
And believe it or not, our number 1 lifter of the day, George Noma, it's his first national meet as well.
No, it isn't.
It is, 100%.
Pull up his meet history real quick. I'm curious. Lance, pull that up. That was a good lift there for Jordan Estes. Khalil Zaki's going to come right behind. He's going to do 429. That's a decent jump. 180 to 195, 33 pounds. Not a super huge jump, but not a small jump either, especially on bench.
Yeah, George's biggest meet was Northeast Regionals.
Wow.
Everything else. So it'd be pretty good to come into your first national meet and win at the Arnolds.
Damon Kerr, bars loaded on platform 1 here, 413 pounds. Here's Khalil. Handles the larger jump well, a little bit slower, a little bit side to side there. That's going to be a good lift. I can't imagine a much larger jump for the 3rd. A lot of people don't think about when, yes, you think about the squat as being primarily with the legs, and bench is primarily with the chest, and deadlift is no. It's you got to use your back for all of it.
Right.
All 3 power lifts are back lifts essentially. You got to have a strong back to bench. You got to have to squat. You got to have a strong bench to keep your position on bench.
Right. We know there's a direct relationship between stability and force output, and if you have a strong back on bench and you can force your lats to stabilize yourself, you're going to have a strong bench.
And not only that, we have our lifters that are super strong squatters. Let's say they grind a little bit too hard, their back's a little bit sore. Very common occurrence going into this bench. Maybe they have to make some play call adjustments here. How is that going to affect them getting through bench going into the deadlift?
Yep.
Andrew Jessup, easy opener there, 413. Thomas Zayas there, 2nd attempt. That's going to be a good lift. 2 more lifters here on platform 1 before we go into our 2nd attempts there. Brolik Graham, Yuli Muyai taking 190 kilos, 418-pound opener. Yuli's a very strong bencher, so I'm very excited to see what he does here. Fun fact about Yuli, he did actually bomb out on bench 1 year. I can't remember if it was Nationals or if it was the Arnold a couple years ago. But he is a very strong bencher regardless. Simon Schott over on platform 2, 451. That's a good lift for him.
And keep your eye on Lorenzo Wright here. Currently forecasted in 5th, but that is before he registers his 2nd and 3rd bench, or even any benches. So Lorenzo, 195, 430 pounds, could climb up in these rankings. Same thing with Lee Seeley. He's in fourth currently, excuse me.
A little bit of an insight onto Lorenzo's training here. He's a very strong bencher as well, looking to creep a little bit closer to the 500-pound mark. Man, easy opener there at 425. I've seen him bench well into the 470s a few times. 480 is getting into that higher point. He's going to need, like you said, he's got to make his attempts. Having missed that second attempt squat was crucial for his total in this standing, so he's got to make the smart decision moving forward.
We see a good lift from Lee Seeley, 207.5. He's currently sitting with 517 on forecast for Dots, keeping him at fourth place behind Kevin Sanukin, who's at 526. Lorenzo Wright loading up 205 for his second attempt, so we'll see him at the end of this flight for platform 1. Peter Cherry on 2 with 468. Patrick Owens with 347. Just a little too much for Peter
Very
Cherry.
strong. That's going to be a no lift there for Peter Cherry. Going on to Ryan Haig, 222.5 kilos, 490 pounds.
Just approaching that 500-pound mark, like we spoke about, a huge milestone. Ryan Hay taking a 12.5-kilo jump to 490.
Sebastian Masadi, 374 pounds, locked and loaded. Both lifters very precise in their setups here. Strong second attempts for both.
I think Ryan might be able to pass that 500 mark. Just another 5 kilos to get there. And speaking of 500, Nathan Wilhelm, 551 pounds.
Depending on how this goes. Again, we're really looking for that lockout here. He's very explosive off the chest, very common for a lot of our larger lifters. It's all going to come down to how well he's able to find that lockout. Reese Ellison, platform 1 here. Another Carolina boy. 177.5. 3 white lights there for him. Reese is having a great day thus far. 5 for 5 on the day. Here's Nathan. There's times where I don't like to be right, Lance. There's times where I don't like to be right. Like we were saying, they're very explosive off the chest there, but the moment we get to that lockout, things start to get hairy. And that was a big jump for him, so he finds himself in a tough position to be able to keep himself in the running for the top spots here.
Luke Strong on platform 2. 167.5. His best bench coming into this was 160. He already hit that PR on his second. Like we said, huge PR on his squat. You can tell the training has been going extremely well based off of these numbers.
Here's big Anthony Angelini on platform 1 here. 407. 5 kilo jumps here, very routine attempt increase for Anthony. Luke Strong. Excellent decision going up 2.5 kilos here. He finds the lockout. I was watching his hips, and the judges say they were good. 3 white lights.
It's one of those things about the Hammer Forge strength lifters. They make the right attempt call. They make the safe attempt call. And it's like I said, when you go 9 for 9, it's really hard to be beat.
Good lift there for Anthony on 1. 3 white lights. Danny's coming up next with 413 pounds. Here's Jordan on platform 2 doing 396 pounds. His last attempt on the bench here. Let's take a look. Very strong. 3 white lights. Jordan Estes and Luke Strong both keeping up 6 for 6 on the day. Again, strong performances, strong execution from our lifters today. Good second attempt there. 3 white lights for Danny.
Here comes Khalil Zaki with 435 pounds.
Joshua Onodeko here, 192.5, going up 10 kilos. Decently sizable jump here. You want to think about putting a 10 on each side.
And just a little bit too much for Khalil, but remember that 2.5 kilo jump, he doesn't really lose much off of his total. He made the smallest jump that he possibly could.
That's something he could very easily pull back when he gets to deads.
Right, I mean, his deadlift opener is 350. I mean, we've seen Khalil. He has the current world record in the 110 open for the deadlift. We're going to see a bit of a show from him when it comes time to pull.
Josh Onodeko. Strong lockout there. That's going to be a good lift for him as well. 3 white lights. Simon's shot. Now, he did miss his second attempt. Had a little bit of up and downward motion there. So he did choose to retake 205. Smart decision there. You know, oftentimes, especially when you're getting into your third attempts, no matter how easy it is, you got to keep the weight on the bar. Much stronger showing there from Simon on the last bench. 3 white lights. Here's Damon Kerr taking 200 kilos even. Strong off the chest like we see, but again, it's going to come down to that lockout. 2-1, going to be a no lift there.
Probably the butt coming off like we spoke about with the 2 yellows on each side.
And it doesn't have to be like the butt staying off the bench. It could be a very quick, just the butt popping off the bench, but that can be enough between a red light and a white light.
Right, needs to remain in contact with the bench from start to rack. Andrew Jessup taking a big jump, 12.5 kilos to 440. Let's see what he's got in store for us.
Product of Reactive Training Systems here. Known across powerlifting. Their exceptional play calling, exceptional programming, handling, and coaching. Tomas, beautiful third attempt there. 451 looked exceptionally easy. 3 white lights there. He's happy with it. Good celebration coming off the platform. That's the energy we want to see going into deads.
Yuli on platform 1. Yuli is a very successful coach himself. Very into the sport, very all over the sport. You'll see him at plenty meets across the country. And he talks the talk and walks the walk as you see him competing here at one of the biggest meets of the year and putting up an incredible total. 205 kilos, 452. And, oh man, that ran out of gas quick. There. I was getting ready to say he smoked it, but it just hit a wall.
And that's like what we were saying, you know, you can be really fast off the chest, but once those triceps kick in.
It's a couple of big lifts here coming from Lorenzo Wright. 205, if successful, will jump him into 4th place. So you see our forecasted standings. That keeps into account as if he were to hit this. Remember, it's all your registered attempts. So his opener deadlift take into account there. This current attempt take into account there. If he drops it, he might drop behind Lee Seeley, who's on platform 2 right now. So we're going to get to see these two go back to back here. Lee Seeley first.
Beautiful third attempt there.
So Lee Seeley currently sitting in 5th. Lorenzo Wright needs this to stay in 4th, and he hits it. And now Lorenzo still has that 3rd attempt to possibly climb into 2nd or 3rd, maybe even 2nd. Currently forecasted at 523. Ahead of him is Kevin Sanukin at 526, and then Garrett Lockwood at 527. We'll see where he goes here. This could definitely push him in to the top 3, depending on how aggressive he wants to be.
You want to talk about just how complex it is, not even calling these numbers, but we talked about it a little bit in the prior session. You're not only lifting against lifters in the same flight as you, the next flight as you, but you're competing against lifters on the next platform.
Right.
In different flights. And so we mentioned a little bit earlier, it's kind of a handler's nightmare, kind of keeping track of all of these numbers, but it just goes to show how masterful these handlers are in making sure their lifters are set up in the best possible position. to get on the podium today.
Yeah, your direct competition going at the same exact time as you is. See Ryan try to attempt the 500-pound bench press, but it just does not move off the chest. You have to shoot for it. Once you get to that level, it's like you got to put the extra 2.5 kilos on to get to 500, right? Nathan Wilhelm closing out our benches for platform 2 with 551, re-attempting his second attempt.
Now, he did miss that second attempt on strength. Again, very explosive off the chest. We'll see if he can't find lockout here. Very common cue for coaches, pinky down hard. Sebastian, just too heavy on the day there. Here's Nathan. That's just going to be a bit too much on the day for him as well. Still, opening up with 531 on the bench and making it move as fast as he did is exceptional.
Yeah, very, very strong lifter on the bench. And that closes up bench for platform 2. They're going to get the platform prepped for deadlift, and then they'll take a 10-minute break. We're going to bring you in full screen here just in a second for platform 1, who still has third attempts to go.
Reese Ellison coming up to 407 pounds. Last saw Reese at Southeast Regionals this past year in October, put up an excellent performance. Looking to continue that same thing today. Currently 5 for 5 on the day. Oh, and can he find his way to lock out slow and steady? He locks it out. Do his hips stay on? Do we see any up and down? Come on, judges.
2-1, the lift is good. Got a blue card from the chief referee, so she probably saw some up and down movement there. As long as the jury stays put, that's gonna count.
Anthony Angelini up next. Bar is already locked, loaded, ready to go. 418 pounds.
Our 10-minute timer has started on platform 2, so they will be back in exactly 10 minutes. Still have a way to go on platform 1. About 7 attempts left.
Some pretty important attempts as well on platform 1 here. So be sure we stay tuned, stay locked in.
Lorenzo Wright's got a big one to stay in contention, and we'll get to that when he comes up to the platform.
Anthony gets the start. It's going to be a bit too much on the day for him. And you see that fairly frequently with lifters that have that sink press. You almost have to give a little bit more drive coming out of the bottom, and that's kind of what we saw there. The hips might have come up just a little bit, and that's going to be a little bit too much for our lifter to overcome there. Still, excellent run across the board. 5 for 6, Anthony Angelini. Finishing out with a 407 bench is nothing to sneeze at.
Danny,
go ahead.
430. 430 for Danny. He's 5 for 5 so far on the day.
Can he find his way to lock out here? He does. The lift is good. Big celebration for Danny. He's stoked about that one. 6 for 6 on the day. I'd be stoked about it too.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna go up 2.5 kilos for Josh Onadeko.
We can hear behind us the weight slamming on the ground. Platform 2 warming up for deadlifts right now.
Josh taking his time getting set up under there. Again, bench might not look all that crazy. It might not be a whole lot of flash here, but there's so much complexity in these setups here. Every lifter is very particular in how they want the weight to move out of the rack.
Oh, and what a fight from Joshua.
Wow.
Gets it locked out. What do the judges say? 3 white lights. The lift is good.
You can't call a more perfect third attempt bench than that. That was right on the money. 2.5 kilos more, that was not gonna move. Excellent, excellent play calling there from Josh and their handler. Damon Kerr up next, 451 pounds. Bold strategy Cotton, having mixed that second attempt at 441. Still going up 5 kilos. And unfortunately, the bold move does not play out for him. Damon Kerr, unfortunately, not having the best day, having made only his openers for both squat and bench. He does have a total thus far. We'll see if he's able to pick the momentum back up for deadlifts as he gets a little bit of a break to warm up. Yuli's going to take the same weight, looking to retake that. He did miss his second attempt on strength. Yuli gets the start. That's going to be too much on the day there, unfortunately. He will come away with 190, though. Again, still in the game. Up next, Andrew Jessup took a big jump from first to second, going up 7.5 kilos at a massive grind on squat. Andrew's having a great day thus far. Great momentum. Again, good execution from the Reactive Training Systems team. And Andrew will be our next to last bencher in the flight. Lorenzo will follow up behind, and then we will start our 10-minute break on platform 1.
We're seeing a lot of good grinds out of these lifters as Andrew locks us out. And 3 white lights, the lift is good. And we're going to finish with Lorenzo Wright, who jumped to 210, which will put his forecasted dots at 526.2, just behind Kevin Sanukin, who has 526.6. They're right behind each other. So
4/10 of a point, folks.
Which is another 2.5 kilos if he were to go up. So playing it smart here, just building the total. Lorenzo Wright's second attempt looked really good. We're going to have a lot of shakeup when it comes to deadlifts. We have George Noma with 530, Garrett Lockwood with 527, Kevin Sanukin with 526.6, and Lorenzo Wright with potentially 526.2 if he can stay in it. And this is such an important bench for him to stay in this meet. The lift is good. And don't forget about Lee Seeley at 5th right now with 520, and he's a huge puller. He's going to make big jumps, opening up with 345. We'll see.
It's going to be a grand old time, grand old party for pulls. We're going to give our platform just a little bit of a time to get set up. We're going to come back to our action in platform 2 here in about 4 minutes. So we're going to give us a quick sip of water. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back here shortly. And we are back. The weight has hit the floor. That means the party has started. Arguably the most important part of the meet, the most fun part of the meet. It is deadlift time, ladies and gents, for the Male Raw Challenge here at the Arnold Sports Festival for USA Powerlifting here in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. My name is Nick Stevens with my exceptional co-host.
I'm Lance London, and this is the best lift of the day, in my opinion. A little bit biased on my end. I love deadlifts.
I do
but
too.
This
you can
is
be biased.
where
It's okay.
This is where wins become losses and losses become wins. It's where the meet will shake up. It's the only attempt where you can change the only lift where you can change your third attempt to try to jockey for position. We're gonna see that multiple times throughout this. Our top 5 lifters are separated by just 10 dots points. And then just off the platform, our next lifter is separated by another 4. It's going to be a battle.
Starting up first here, Thomas Bish. First opener deadlift, 192. Looked super easy. 3 white lights there.
And you hear that music get louder. We turn it back up for deadlifts because they don't need to hear the chief referee. They can just look at them. It's where the energy gets kicked up a little bit, and my energy gets kicked up a bit. I love watching the meet unfold.
Jacob Peterson coming up next. Again, in our raw adaptive category, he's going to take 286 pounds. Part of the reason deadlifts are the most fun lifts because it's the easiest lift to hit. You only have one command to abide by from the judges, and that's the down command. Can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like in terms of just the timing and everything?
Right, so with the first 2 lifts, your squat and your bench, that timer starts as soon as you get bars loaded. It's the same thing with deadlifts, but on the first 2, that timer doesn't matter anymore once you get the squat command or the start command. For deadlifts, there is no start command. You start whenever you're ready. So once the lifter makes a bona fide attempt at it, that's when the timer doesn't matter anymore. So once you get it locked out to the top, standing upright, shoulders back, knees locked, hips through, that's when you'll get the down command with the drop of the hand from the chief referee, and then you may replace it back down. Remember, you must follow the bar back to the platform. You can't just let it go. Your hands must follow it down, or that is a no lift.
It's very important. We saw that a couple times in our last session. Some very, very important deadlifts were missed because couldn't keep contact with the bar.
And that's a huge mental mistake for lifters to make because you know they had the strength for it, but they just couldn't keep their head about them and just drop it. A lot of times at this level, you won't see that, but like we said with the commands earlier, you're not immune to it no matter how high up you get. Look at Gino. He's getting into it. Gino loves deadlifts. He's got Bleed It Out by Linkin Park playing. That's his deadlift song.
You want to talk about Gino? I mean, he's a spectacle in and of itself. I mean, we're here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Hundreds of thousands of people are walking around getting a first-hand look at USA Powerlifting. And not only is Gino assisting in that spectacle, drawing the eyes, but he's bringing people to the sport, enhancing the exposure, bringing the energy to our lifters and our spectators.
Yeah, Gino, our MC for almost all of our national meets. I believe it's 48 weekends out of the year he's at a powerlifting event for USA Powerlifting.
That sounds about right.
He does so much for the sport. He's such a draw. They call him the Pirate of Powerlifting, if you can't tell by his outfit. He's such a draw. He brings the crowd in. Everyone loves Gino. I'm hosting a meet in a couple of weeks. You know how many times I've gotten emails, oh, is Gino going to be there? Is Gino going to be there?
Is Gino going to be there?
And he is going to be there. I wouldn't have a meet without Gino.
Andrew Ernst, easy opener there. 573.
Another thing about deadlifts move pretty fast because, like we said, only one command. They don't have to walk it out from a rack. There's not much setup that's needed compared to the squat or bench. You still see these elaborate setups because they want to get in their right position, but it's not like you have to, on squat where you have to walk it out from a rack, or it's not like bench where you have to unrack it or get somebody to give you a handoff. You start when you want to.
Yep, as soon as that bar is called loaded, it is your world. Roderick Keeler here, opening up with 285 kilos, 628 pounds. Important distinction, at the beginning of the meet, he did have a little bit of a misnomer number in there. He had 380 in there, which would have been huge. However, he is at his correct number now, 285 kilos.
And we're down to 25 seconds on the clock for Roderick. Remember, that's 25 seconds to start the lift. You know, on opener, maybe he didn't realize that the session was starting. Still got 15 seconds to get out here. There he is.
Comes. He still has plenty of time. The bar is loaded as long as he starts the lift.
628. Oh, maybe affected a bit by the last minute stress to run out there, but it looks like he locks it out.
And when you see things like that, you got to wonder what the situation is behind the curtain. What does the warm-up room look like? Did we get good timing for our warm-ups? Did we have to rush? Did we almost forget our deadlift socks and have to run back super fast and come sprint right back out? We saw that happen yesterday. Anything could be going on behind the curtain. And so we're only giving you our best view, our best guess.
So you mentioned deadlift socks. That is a piece of equipment that is required for all lifters. They must wear socks up to the bottom of their knee. The reason for this is because the knurling on the power bars is very aggressive. It's almost like a very aggressive sandpaper because that is what digs into the lifter's hands. When that rubs against the shins, a lot of times it tears up the skin, and we want to avoid any blood getting on the bar. We do have a spray disinfectant that we wipe down the bar with. It's usually 10 parts water, 1 part bleach that they'll spray it down and then brush the bar with. This way there's no blood contact between the two lifters.
Oh, here's Joel Chong, always known to bring out the character in his singlet when he comes for his deadlifts. Joel is an exceptional deadlifter in his own right. Opening here at 661, his deadlift put him into prime time at last year's Nationals, and you can see why. A masterclass here.
Is that a Christmas singlet?
It is a Christmas singlet. Looks like he's got gumdrops and snowmen and all the things. You know,
I'm always in the Christmas spirit.
I appreciate the spirit. I really do.
And we're going to get started on platform 1 in just about a couple of seconds. But Kevin Sanukin here, forecasted in third with 526. Very important lift here. He needs to climb up those rankings if he wants a shot at first or even second. He's only 1 point behind second and 4 points behind first. We'll see how he jumps here. Deadlift's moving very quick for this platform, almost to the end of first attempts.
Great opener there. Agent Orange himself, Kevin Sanukin, 3 white lights.
And if you look at the top of your screen, you'll see the crowd that we have here at USA Powerlifting. Bleachers going back to the back of the arena, all filled up.
Oh,
sold
standing
out
room
crowd.
only.
Yeah.
What a sight. And there we even got some furry friends in the front there taking a look. Powerlifting knows no species.
George Noma, 315 opener, 694 pounds, currently in first. What can he do with the deadlift to extend this lead and walk away with the $2,000 prize? And he's in a good spot here, flying off the floor.
Wow.
Here's Dan Howell. I told you, Dan Howell has a great pull. He makes big jumps. Earlier, he was towards the back of the pack. He's worked his way up to 7. What can Dan Howell do to sneak in there? I told you, don't take your eye off of him.
Top of the lineup here, we're on platform 1. Great openers here. Justin Salt's got his opener at 70 kilos. Matthew Gibbs, 245 kilos. That's 540 pounds. Good lift. Albert Lee is going to take the same weight. Bars loaded for him. Here's Dan Howell. Just outside the running in that top 5, like you were saying, but it does come down to the pulls.
Dan Howell making 320 fly, 705 pounds.
As nonchalant as possible. Excellent opener there. He's going to take us into our second attempts over on platform 2. Albert Lee, exceptional. 540 pounds, 3 white lights there. Bars getting loaded on 2. Thomas Bish, 209 pounds. Silver Garcia over on platform 1. Again, 540 pounds, 245 kilos. You're going to see a lot of time, especially with our sumo pullers, it's going to look a lot tougher coming off of the ground just because of how technical the sumo deadlift is, much like having a wide grip bench. You don't have a lot of opportunity to kind of caveman the weight up. You can't really muscle it up. And so you have to be sure that your technique is very precise off the floor, and then you can explode into your lockout. Here's DeWitt on platform 1, 545 pounds. Jacob Peterson, 308 pounds on platform 2. This is his second attempt. Good opener there for DeWitt. Here's Alex McQuillan going to take his opener at 255. That's unfortunately going to be a no lift for Jacob Pearson there. Just looked a little bit too heavy on the day. It is his second attempt, so we'll try and replace that for his third. Lift is good there for Alex on platform 1. Up next, Jonathan Renninger, 260 kilos. Eric Weiss looking to continue his momentum. He is on the board with all of his openers. Only got his opener bench, looking to get on the board here with the second attempt, deadlift. Very smooth. 573 goes down, very nice, 3 white lights.
I'm looking at the standings here. We're gonna have a lot of shakeup through these second attempts, and then I'm sure furthermore through the thirds. This is the point in the meet where my heart rate starts to go up. I love it. I love the competition.
Bars loaded for both of our gentlemen. Ethan Garcia on 1, Zachary Larmer on 2. Decent sized jump there, 20 kilos from 550 to 595. You got to think he might be used to normal 50-pound jumps in the gym, so depending on how this moves, we could see another one for his third.
20 kilos, a big jump.
Beautiful opener there for Ethan. Zach Larmer. Good lift there for Zach on 3. Up next is Dot Win on 1. Getting set up into that sumo stance, making sure he's drilling himself into the floor there. Again, you want to be sure your positioning is extremely strong off the floor. The moment your positioning breaks down, especially with sumo, it's going to be a lot harder to find that lockout.
Sumo is very dependent on the position that you're in. You come up a little uneven, everything could go wrong. Andrew Ernst making a 20-kilo jump and making it look good. Roger Keeler making a 2.5-kilo jump. Saw him do this on his squat too, very conservative.
Good opener there. Mark Frizzell over on platform 1, 3 white lights there.
Remember, Roderick almost missed his opener by timing out. And this is going to be a grind for Roderick.
Tough.
Arnold Castro, on the other hand, smoking 600 pounds on platform 1.
As Richard Tandler, what do you do there? Or sorry, as Roderick Tandler, what do you do there? That was a 2.5-kilo jump, first to second. Both looked extremely tough.
Unless there's an injury, you make another 2.5-kilo jump and just try to build the total. It was tough, but it's the last lift of the meet. You're not worried about gassing yourself out. You might as well just go for broke and throw it on there.
Garrett Lockwood here over on 1.
Currently forecasted in 4th.
Just has to start us off on deadlifts here. We've got 2 lifters on platform 2, though, that, if successful, could lock Garrett out of the top 3 positions. He is sat in 4th at the moment with a good 606 squat there, or deadlift there.
So here's where the drama comes in. Currently, as it stands, with every successful attempt, this is not forecast yet, George Noma has 530 dots points. Kevin Sanukin has 526, but with a successful attempt here, Kevin Sanukin will go to 534. So that will jump him back into first over George Noma. Now, George Noma still lifts next, which will give him the opportunity to answer and would put George back into first with 540. So we're going to see some shakeup. I love it. I love every bit of this. Kevin Sanukin to jump back into first.
Very snappy opener there for Trevor. Here's Kevin, 325, a little bit slower off the floor. Smooth, I don't think it's slowed down at all, but it was smooth in and of itself. That's gonna stick him back into provisional first, I reckon, if a good lift, and is.
Kevin Sanukin now sits alone in the first spot with 534. George Noma currently has 530. If successful, George Noma will go to 540. Going back into first place. Big lift for George. 15 kilos is not a big jump for him. We've seen him do 20. What can he do here?
Smooth deadlift there for George. Also a very smooth second attempt there for Justin over on one.
3 white lights and George Noma gets it on the board.
We've got Joel Chong up next on platform 2, followed behind by Daniel Howell. Daniel, with that 340 he's got for second attempt, puts him at forecasted 4th. But he's got a bit of a wall. He's got a bit of a wall to climb with George Noma and Kevin Sanukin. Not only that, Khalil Zaki is still waiting for his shot to prove that he is the dreadlift specialist. And then we've got a couple lifters on platform 1 here in the second flight. Lorenzo Wright still looking to stake his place in the top 3.
Yeah, so we have Lee Seeley in flight D on platform 2.
Joel Chong, exceptional second attempt.
30-kilo jump for Joel. Dan Howell with 340 coming up. Currently with 516, if successful, will move to 529, effectively putting him into 4th place. George Noma has 350 loaded up for his third attempt. Kevin Sanukin has 347.5 loaded up for his third attempt. This is probably intentional by the two of them because they can change. So George is trying to pull after him or make Kevin Sanukin force his hand and actually pull that 347. We'll see what happens here. Dan Howell first with 340.
Important to note here, you are with the deadlift, unlike the squat and the bench, you are able to change your attempt 3 times. So like you were saying, you are able to put in what's called a placeholder attempt there, wait for your opponent to change their attempt, possibly even go out for that attempt, miss it. You can always change yours back down so long as it's not less than what's already on the bar.
Dan Howell, nice pull. 749 pounds from the 90-kilo lifter, closing out our second attempts.
And just to put into perspective here, again, this is not a total-based meet. Your total plays a lot of parts in how your performance is scored in this meet, but this does come down to dots points. And just to put into perspective how important these lifts are, George Noma, sitting currently in first here, forecasted if he makes his third attempt at 350, will have a 553 dots points. If he misses that, that's a 540 dots point score. That's almost a 13-point difference, and that's going to leave the door wide open for Kevin Sanukin if he makes his to put him into first place.
I think the smart move from Kevin Sanukin here is to just jump above 540 and make George pull a third attempt. Don't overshoot it, make George pull. Now, the thing about George is, though, like we said earlier with the squat and bench, George hits lifts. He executes.
He's 8 for 8 right now. You can't ask for anything better than that, but same with Kevin Sanukin.
Right, and it's not abnormal for either of them to go 9 for 9. We'll see how this plays out. This is powerlifting at its best. Who is the better lifter? Who is the better power lifter? Not just the stronger lifter. And who has the better attempt calls? Who is in your corner making those calls? Who's going to put you in the best position to win?
Beautiful first attempt there, or third attempt there on platform 2. Thomas Bish, our first adaptive athlete to finish up. Now that we're getting into our third attempts, as we finish the third attempts, these what's called forecasted placings aren't going to be forecasted anymore. This is it, folks. This is where the rubber hits the road. We're going to see forecasted placings turn into real placings here. Good third attempt there for Thomas Bish on platform 2, 231. We've got Alex McQuillan had a good attempt at 265. DeWitt Tefesse is going to take the same weight on platform 1. Here's Jacob Peterson on 2, retaking missed weight. This is 308 pounds. It's just going to be a little bit too tough on the day for Jacob. He still comes away with 130, and he'll still come away with a total place here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Eric Weiss coming up next with 600 pounds even. Good lift on platform 1 for DeWitt. Jonathan Renninger is coming right up next with 606 pounds. 600 though loaded for Eric Weiss.
Big
looking
milestone.
to finish out strong here. Gets past the knees. Finds lockout. Oh, but he's not able to hold on to it. So close there.
Yeah, that's a tough one to go through. He just had it there, but unfortunately just a little too much.
Good second attempt there for Jonathan Renninger, 3 white lights. Coach Larmer's up next, showing exactly why he's a coach, showing how he knows how this game works. 8 for 8 on the day, 10-kilo jump from second to third, up to 617 pounds. If he makes this, this will put him 9 for 9. We've got Dot Win on platform 1 taking 617 pounds as well. It's almost a race to see who's going to pull it first. Unfortunately, not there for Zachary on the day. He kind of feels it right off the floor there. And unfortunately, a miss lift there for Dot on platform 1 on grip. Sometimes all it takes is just chalking up a little bit more, setting that hook grip.
That's right. So none of these lifters yet have changed their third attempt. They're all sticking with what they got. We'll see. It's kind of a cat and mouse game. Who is going to change first? Who's going to do what? Who's going to force whose hand? Right now, George has the advantage because he's in first. He doesn't have to change. He could force them to pull heavier if he wants to. Dan Howell with 355 loaded in, he'll pull last if everything remains the same. But one thing you don't want to do is get caught up in the 1 and 2 battle. You don't want to get caught up in the 1-2 and then forget the 3-4-5s who could also jump ahead of you. You should be focused on multiple lifters here.
Ethan Garcia, unfortunately, no lift there on platform 2. That's going to be a little bit of up and downward motion. We got a blue card from our referees there. Arnold Castro up next, 287.5. Roderick Keeler not able to find his way up. You predicted it correctly. 2.5 kilos there for the last pull.
Yeah, like we said, you just got to go for it. At that point, it's the last lift of the meet. You're not going to gas yourself out totally. If it's hard, so be it. Put it on the board, see if it goes.
Here's Arnold Castro. Second attempt here at 633. Very clean.
Kevin Sanukin changed. Kevin Sanukin goes to 355, which would put him in first if everyone is successful. So, cat and mouse game. George Noma stays at 350. Dan Howell's at 355. Kevin Sanukin's at 355. Dan Howell has a lower lot number, again, randomly assigned a week before the meet. So Dan Howell will have to pull before Kevin Sanukin. Who is going to change?
That being
cat
said,
and mouse. Now, with that being said, Kevin Sanukin is still in second. George could fail this lift if Kevin Sanukin can't drop below George. So if Kevin Sanukin is truly overshooting, he has to hit. He can't just wait for George to miss. He has to hit. George is fully in the driver's seat here.
And now we have the option here. Now, it's very important when we're looking at third attempt deadlifts here, you can always change your attempt down to a lesser weight. The caveat there is it can't be less than the weight that's already on the bar there. So in the case for George Noma here, for Kevin Sanukin here, he put in 355 for this attempt here. Let's say he wanted to drop back down. Well, let's say George Noma hits 350. The lowest he can go is 350. So like you said, he has to execute at that level almost no matter what. It's a difference of 10 pounds. Not a whole lot of a difference here, but it is going to make a difference here for our placings for the Arnold.
Big lift for Garrett Lockwood here, currently in fourth, extending his dot score. It's not going to put him up in placing much. Maybe a soft knee a little bit.
Ooh, that was a shaky lockout. Looks like he's coming off the platform a little ginger, too.
Oh, no, that's not good. That's not what we want to see. Kevin changed his attempt one more time, so we're going to Kevin, 337.5 kilos. So he's currently at 534 dots. This would jump him to 542, just 2 points ahead of George Noma. So this is going to be his attempt. He has to hit this, forcing George to hit his next attempt. We should expect George to drop down lower if this is successful. But for now, Kevin Sanukin going for first place. George currently in first with 540. This would give Kevin Sanukin 542. What does he have to say about it? 12.5 kilo jump from his second, 744 pounds. Oh my goodness.
He stands it up.
What
Agent
a grind.
Orange.
3 white lights. Now expect a change from George Noma here.
He did drop down. He went from 350 back down to 342.5. That's a 7.5 kilo change. What does that put him in the standings for Dots?
That forecast would put him at 548, just ahead of Kevin Sanukin.
And that's where the deadlift advantage comes in handy, folks. That's where it comes down to masterful play calling. We were waiting for Kevin Sanukin to put in a heavier attempt initially, trying to force George to maybe increase his attempt as well. That didn't work by the time Kevin had to pull, so he had to drop back down, hit his weight, do the minimum he could to get ahead of George, and now George has the opportunity to come right back ahead with the 342.5 pull here.
I love it. Oh, Joel Chong.
Grip issue off the floor there. Again, those pesky spotters, every now and then they staple the weight to the floor.
So remember,
get on them about that.
This meet is not over yet. We still have another flight to go with a lot of lifters who could jump in front of him. But as it sits, Kevin Sanukin in first place with 542, George Noma in second place with 540. This would jump him to 548, back into first place where he's been at all meet. He's been in control of the meet. He just lost it. Will George jump back into first and get that $2,000 prize for the time being? George Noma with the opportunity to lift not only 755 pounds off the floor, but $2,000 off the floor. In his first national meet of his young powerlifting career, does George Noma have a special moment?
No, he doesn't. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. Does this shake things up? He misses 342. That puts him at his original dot score.
540. So now Dan Howell, he has the opportunity to change until the bar is called loaded. Does he want to go up? He still has time because they're brushing off the bar. Dan Howell's going to stay. So
Kevin
he's going to stay.
Sanukin's now in first. He did beat
Correct.
out. Yep, he beat out George Noma after that missed pull. So Kevin Sanukin now currently in first. He is the man to beat with a 542 dots.
Now, one thing to pay attention here. This is going to bring Dan Howell to 539. Garrett Lockwood is currently forecasted at 538. If he hits this, Garrett Lockwood might change to go a little bit heavier just to beat Dan Howell on third place.
And this is where that difficulty comes in. I know Alex Lockwood is watching this stream like a hawk, maybe even watching the platform itself, seeing how Daniel responds to this third attempt.
782 pounds, cannot get it. So that puts Dan Howell solidified at 529. If Garrett Lockwood jumps up, he'll be at 530. We need to see a jump from Garrett Lockwood to take third place. Remember, there's payouts 1 through 5, so everything 1 through 5 matters here. Garrett Lockwood will be on platform 1 coming up in just a moment.
We still do have Trevor Bolus and Albert Lee here just waiting in 6th and 7th. Both still have to take their second attempts here. Albert Lee, his forecasted will keep him in 6th, but Trevor Bolus with his attempt will put him into provisional 4th ahead of Lorenzo Wright and Daniel Howell.
Albert Lee had a tough meet today. Failed his opener on squats, failed his third attempt on squats, and he's still in the running for top 5. You can only imagine where he'd be if he just executed earlier.
Peter Cherry setting us off on platform 2 here. 3 white lights, and we're completely forgetting about Khalil Zaki and Lee Seeley in platform 2.
Absolutely. There's a lot of shakeup that can happen here in this next flight. Lee Seeley opening up with 345. As you see with these heavier lifters and these heavier pullers, they make those big jumps. So even though they're pretty far back in the forecast right now, they could work their way back up. With those big jumps, you see that dot score jump up pretty quickly.
And we see a monster third attempt deadlift there from DeWitt to Fesse, 606 pounds. We saw a big celebration at the very top of the pull there. 8 for 9 on the day. He's happy with it. Here's Ryan Haig opening up with 265 kilos, 584 pounds. Albert Lee here, 606. This attempt is going to keep him currently, he's in 7th right now. This poll is going to put him in 6th, ahead of Daniel Howell. If not, Daniel Howell is going to stay in the 3rd spot. Albert Lee taking his time getting set up here. The setup matters. The mindset matters, especially as you're getting into this 3rd attempt here. He stands it up. Are the judges going to give him a good lift? They do. 3 white lights. At the moment, we still have a couple lifters left to go. We have Garrett Lockwood coming up later in the flight, as well as Trevor Bolus and Mark Frizzell, so they could still take a winning shot. However, Albert Lee provisionally in 3rd at the moment, 534 dots. Bit of a ways behind George Noma, Kevin Sanukin over on platform 2. Dan Howell kind of being the gatekeeper there, missing that last attempt deadlift there, 529 dots. Garrett Lockwood, we're still waiting for an attempt change
We
here.
saw an attempt change.
Oh my.
That's what I was waiting for you to finish. But we saw an attempt change. And Garrett Lockwood, currently in 3rd, is not going to jump to 2nd. He's going to jump to 1st if successful.
Baby.
He's going for it all. 2nd place, he doesn't want it. He wants the 1st place finish. Garrett Lockwood loading up 297.5 to bring his dot score to 543, above Kevin Sanukin, who's at 542. You want drama, you got it here in Columbus, Ohio, at the biggest fitness sports festival in the world. Can Garrett Lockwood have a special moment in him?
Here's Ethan Garcia on 1. We've got a couple more lifters to go here. Last attempt here at 622, finds it off the floor, gets to lockout, stands it up. Luke Strong over on 2. That's going to be a no lift there, unfortunately, for Ethan on 1. We got some blue cards underneath there. He'll still come away with a good lift. Luke Strong making very short work of 639. Easy. Oh, we see Ethan Garcia's coach running directly to the jury table here. So we're going to take a little bit of a pause.
Garrett Lockwood coming up for 1st place, 297.5 to jump from 3rd to 1st. Currently with a 527.
After missing
No, he's in 5th now.
Attempt.
He got jumped by Albert. So he's going to go from 5th to 1st. 5th to 1st for Garrett Lockwood here.
The difference of 2,250. Garrett Lockwood, it all comes down to this pull right here. Stands it up. Oh no!
And he doesn't get it on the board. He'll sit at 5th, but you have to admire Garrett Lockwood for going for that.
You want to talk about a gamer move, ladies and gents.
I love it.
Garrett Lockwood playing the game of powerlifting. This is what it's all about,
It's like Ricky
folks.
Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last. I love it. I love the mentality. You go for everything there. Garrett Lockwood, I will remember this moment for a while.
This is arguably one of the better competitions we've seen thus far. Excellent shakeups. Arnold Castro coming up next to 1 on platform 1, 660 pounds. He stands it up. He's able to finish. And that's going to be a good lift for him. Thomas Zayas about to stand up, 320 kilos, opening with 700 pounds. He says, all right, all the cool stuff's happening on platform 1. Look at me. I'm going to open with 705.
The craziest part about all of this is we've had so much shakeup, and there's still so much to go. We have Lee Sealy. We have Khalil Zaki, who we've seen pull crazy weight to move into 1st. He did it recently at Raw Nationals. He set a world record to move into 1st in the 110 division. So don't count Khalil Zaki out just yet. Don't count Lee Sealy out just yet. Don't count Lorenzo Wright out just yet. We have 3 people who could make some big shakeups in this podium.
I'm not a betting man, but if I were running my parlay, I would bet that this. Actually, you know what? I'd throw the parlay away. I'd throw the whole thing away. There's no way.
Trevor Bolus. We're all over the place. We got everybody. Trevor Bolus going for 3rd place. Currently, Trevor is in 7th. This is going to move him all the way up to 3rd. Not even on the podium. $0 in his hands right now to go all the way up to 3rd. Oh, good fight.
Oh no!
You know what happened?
I think
It was a little bit wobbly at the top. He probably didn't get that down command, and he had to wait for it, and it just rolled a little bit in his hands. And you know what? Our apologies there, too. We missed Lee Seeley there. 345 was successful for Lee Seeley. So he's going to currently sit in 9th because we got so much shakeup happening here. Khalil Zaki, this is his lift. We've seen Khalil Zaki move big weight.
But not only have we seen Khalil Zaki move big weight, we've seen him move big weight very, very frequently. He competes at a national level meet multiple times in a year.
Yeah,
this is like his 5th meet already, and it's March.
Which you're more than welcome to do in the USAPL. More than welcome to do.
All right, folks, we're on to flight number 2 over on platform 1. We're getting close to the end of the action. This is where the payouts start to get written. These names are starting to get written on these checks here. Platform 1, Damon Kerr, very easy opener there at 260. Reese Ellison going to come up next, 584 pounds. Simon Schott over on platform 2, 290 kilos, 639 pounds.
So right now, as it stands, Kevin Sanukin 1, George Noma 2, Albert Lee 3. Lorenzo Wright with his opener will move to 3 with 535.
And you gotta wonder, when you're taking these big jumps to get even into the top 3, you gotta wonder, what if you took a little bit of a smaller jump just to get into the top 4, top 5?
Right. That's the cat and mouse game that we were speaking about before, and something we saw with Garrett Lockwood earlier. He didn't want 5th. He didn't want 3rd. He wanted 1st. He jumped all the way to 1st. Unfortunately, couldn't get it. But like I said, you have to admire the.
You got to respect the game.
Exactly. Exactly.
Here's Ryan Haig on platform 2. Big jump here, 25 kilos. That's about 55 pounds for the folks at home.
This might be the most exciting session I've ever been a part of.
Strong pull there. Tough at lockout, but he's able to stand it up. Anthony Angelini taking his opening attempt, 611 pounds. Jordan Estes taking a 20-kilo jump up to his second attempt, 639 pounds. Good opener there for Anthony on 1. Now we are seeing an SBD singlet here in full leg. The full leg is covered here. That is allowed in competition.
Very new concept by SBD.
2-to-1, that's going to be a good lift for him. Sebastian Masati taking his opener at 617.
Luke Strong, 302 and a half, 666 on the bar. Gino's going to get going in a second.
And we're about to see the graphic come up behind him. Watch. 3, 2, 1. I was just a little bit late. That's all right. Sebastian Masati, very, very easy opener there. 617 down in flames through white lights. Andrew Jessup's up next. Here's Luke Strong. Here's the Pirate of Powerlifting showing. There it is. There's the.
This is a 7.5 kilo PR for Luke Strong. We spoke about how well his training has been going, and 7.5 kilo PR going that well? Are you kidding me?
Nathan Wilhelm up next. Beautiful second attempt there. 666, the number of the power lifter. Up next, Nathan Wilhelm, 340 kilo deadlift. That's a big jump. 749.57 pounds. We'll round up and call it 750. It might as well be. There's some extra chalk on the bar there.
25 kilos, and if he makes another big jump like that, he could end up in that top 5 somewhere.
Good opener there for Josh, 617 over on platform 1. Beautiful second attempt. Nathan Wilhelm, 3 white lights.
And this is where we're seeing that competitive advantage come in that we spoke about earlier with being in the later flight. These guys get to see what Kevin Sanukin did. These guys get to see what George Noma did. And we're going to see Lorenzo Wright come up very shortly and put himself into 3rd place with just his opener. And you got to think that 542 dots is not far off for Lorenzo Wright.
You got to think that Lorenzo's keeping a hawk eye on whatever Lee Seeley is going to put up next.
Everything.
Right now, he is the only one that is in striking distance of taking him out of that top 3.
So currently, as it stands, Lee Seeley has a 520 dot score. His next attempt, if successful, will put him at 529, just at 6th.
And
Lorenzo
like we were
Wright,
saying, folks, these numbers, especially as we put him into the dot score, even a small change could mean the difference between 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 dots points. So we're keeping a hawk eye on what these dots points are going to do as these lifters make their attempts.
You're seeing how crazy we're going back here. Imagine how the coaches are feeling. They have all the pressure on them. They have to make the right call. Lee Seeley, 360 kilos, 793 pounds, just shy of 800 to put him into 6th.
Good attempt there on platform 1 for both Danny and Patrick. Up next, Yuli Muyai, 295, 650-pound opener. Here's Lee Seeley now, 360 kilos. This is a big deadlift.
Lee Seeley missed a couple kilos on his squat, failing his second and having to reattempt it.
Crucial.
Can he make up for it here on deadlift? Ooh, this is going to be a grind. Oh, my goodness.
Can he hold on to it? He does, okay. He
Wonder if he got that down
there.
command. Yes, he did. 3 white lights. That currently puts him into 6th. And now, on platform 1, we're at Lorenzo Wright. If successful, he will move into 3rd place.
All he has to do is hit the opener, and he is sat comfortably in the bronze.
Albert Lee's probably watching on.
And again, he is not that far off from possibly winning here today. Strong opener pull there from Lorenzo.
And you know what? It's not going to be a gimme either. That was not as smooth as he probably would have wanted it. Currently moves into 3rd, so he's got money in his pocket as it sits. Khalil Zaki on 2, 375.
Looking at the standings right now, Lee Seeley just put in 365, so that will keep him in 5th place at the moment. Looking to get into the money position. Khalil Zaki, crucial, very crucial miss here, missing 375. 55-pound jump here. So that's going to be crucial. That's going to knock him out of the top 10 at the moment.
Okay, so we got some shakeups. Lee Seeley jumping to 365. That will put him from 6th to 5th.
Yep.
Just in front of Dan Howell. Lorenzo Wright, he's going to jump to 325, which will give him 547, jumping him in front of Kevin Sanukin for 1st place, dropping him down to 2nd. Lorenzo Wright going for 1st on his 2nd attempt. You got to think this is strategic, because now if he misses it, he's got 2 shots at it.
You got to think of all the big brain math going on behind the curtain here, folks.
So keep in mind on platform 2, this is not Khalil Zaki. This is this Simon here?
No, this is Jordan with the Jordans.
Jordan with the Jordans.
This is Jordan Estes, taking 295 kilos.
There we go.
That's a good lift
We're
there.
updated.
Reese Ellison over on platform 1, 282.5 kilos, locked and loaded. These lifters are going for it all, folks, and you almost have to. This is the Arnold Sports Festival, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many of these lifters. By making these big calls, putting themselves on the podium, some people, Garrett Lockwood included, are even just missing the podium altogether, leaving the door wide open for folks to come in and take that money. Damon Kerr coming up next on platform 1, 285 kilos.
You have to think a day like this and a meet like this is such a win for USA Powerlifting, with so many non-typical fans here. We have people walking throughout the entire festival. When's the last time you've seen a crowd like this at a USAPL event? Packed to the brim. Jumps, jumps, jumps. We have someone who's in 1st place, now in 5th place. Someone who's in 5th place, now in 1st place. Everybody, everywhere. This is the type of meet that fans want to see. This is why powerlifting is on such an uptick right now. And we're not done yet.
On to 3rd attempts here. Platform 2, 305 kilos, 672. Simon Schott's going to start us off. Actually, sorry, Jordan Estes started us off. Clean attempt there. 9 for 9 for Jordan Estes. Not to be outdone there. He deserves his flowers for that.
Jordan with the Jordans.
Missed attempt there, unfortunately, for Simon Schott. He'll finish out with the 290-kilo pull for the day. Ryan Haig's going to come right behind, 307.5, 677. Big Anthony Angelini, 290 kilos loaded up for him. New York product, showing why New York is one of the strongest states in USA powerlifting. That's going to be a good lift.
Ryan Hay with 307.5 kilos, 678 pounds. He's a big bencher. He attempted 500 pounds on the bench. Usually when you see those big benchers, they don't have a pull like this. This is a solid pull, 307.5.
Can he stand it up, though?
Too.
That's a clean run, 3 white lights. Luke Strong adding 10 kilos onto that. He's going into the 700-pound mark. This has got to be, and you know what? What a cherry on top finish this would be should Luke Strong make this attempt. 9 for 9 across the day. If
PRs
he hits
across
this,
the board. He did
go ahead.
He did say before this meet, this was his #1 goal, 700 pound
pull?
deadlift. Yep. So this is the big moment. Luke Strong, big PRs across the board. Huge PR on squat, huge PR on bench, and now the 700-pound pull. This would be huge for him. His best pull before this was 295. He jumped that on his second attempt by 7.5 kilos. What a huge PR from Luke Strong. What a day. 700 pounds.
Not to be outdone here, we've got another number of the powerlifters, 666. Big Gino behind Mr. Danny Statulik taking 302.5. Strong conventional pull, double overhand as well. It can't be more textbook than that. 3 white lights, and that's a good lift.
Luke Strong in his first ever national meet shows up to the Arnold Sports Festival, puts on a clinic. The young guy in the sport pulling 700 pounds. Can he do it?
699.97. We'll add some chalk on there for 700 pounds. Oh!
And
Looks
unsuccessful
like he got a little
for
off
Luke,
balance there.
but still an incredible day. Like we said, PRs across the board. You can't ask for much more.
Your first national level meet to boot, 8 for 9 on the day. Anyone would be grateful to just post a total. To have a day like his, PRs across the board, what a trip to Ohio he had. Missed lift there, unfortunately, for Sebastian Masadi. Just got stuck to the ground a little bit there. Andrew Jessup's going to try and attempt the same weight, though. This is 672 pounds. We've got Nathan Wilhelm, and this looks like it's a world record attempt, 355 kilos.
Nathan Wilhelm had an 800-pound squat. Now to add a world record.
Wow.
782 pounds. The lift is good.
Unfortunately, not going to be enough to crack him into that top 5, but to finish out his day with a world record,
I'll take it.
I mean.
I'll take it every day. Thomas Zayas, 793 pounds. The great thing about meets like this is even if you're not shaking up those top standings, you get to see lifts like this. 793, just short of 800 pounds.
And we're making this sound like this is just nothing. I mean, people in the first flight as well, we're throwing up well into the 6s, high 6s, low 7s. They're making this look normal.
Right.
This isn't normal, everybody.
This is lifter after lifter touching nearly 800 pounds. Absolutely ridiculous. And we're going to see Khalil Zaki break into that in a couple lifters. But first, Zayas with 793.
Big stand up there for Yuli on platform 1. Here's Thomas. Can he finish the lockout?
Oh!
He gets past the knees.
Oh!
Oh, there's a little bit of up and downward motion, I think. He holds on to it. Hopefully the judges didn't see it. 2-1. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. What a finish Thomas Zayas put on the performance of a lifetime. 8 for 8 on the day, chose not to do that third squat, and I think that was all the difference. Had he taken that third squat, that third deadlift would not have moved.
That's where coaching
What
comes
a
in.
call.
And now we go on to Lee Seeley, currently in 6th. This would move him into 5th. Get him on the podium and finish with the payout.
Oh, here's Lorenzo on 1. Here's Lorenzo on 1. Locks out 325, currently in 3rd. That's going to be a good lift.
Lorenzo, he's in 1st. Alone in 1st.
All he's got to do. Actually, you know what? No,
it's
he
over.
won.
It's over.
He won.
Lorenzo's
Lorenzo Wright
winner.
is your champion.
It's over.
Lorenzo Wright is your 2025 Male Raw Challenge champion. 2026, excuse me, wrong year. Here in Columbus, Ohio.
Lee Seeley to move into 5th.
Oh, he's giving it. What an effort that was. It just was not moving once he got to his knees, but what a solid effort there that was.
So as it stands, Lorenzo Wright alone in 1st. Nobody can jump him there. He's the champion. What is there to say about Lorenzo Wright?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's one more thing to say because he's going to widen the gap just a little bit. If it were me, I'd walk away with the dub. But he says, you know what, let's put a stamp on the day. I'm going to go up a little bit more. Let's crack into the 550 dots realm. We've got 332.5 loaded up for him for his 3rd. He's already got the 2K payday. Let's see if he can finish out with a solid run on his last pull.
Khalil Zaki with 375, 826 pounds. Failed it on strength on his 2nd, but we know he has this. We've seen him pull more than this.
Reese Ellison with an exceptional grind on the day. Going underneath the radar, going 9 for 9. Khalil Zaki finds the inner strength. Can he stand it up fully?
And just gonna be a little
He's
too
going!
much.
He's holding on to it. Oh, it was just too much. Never got the down command, and that's going to be a no lift. And that's going to finish up our action over on platform 2, and that's going to round out, pretty much going to round out our competition here, at least in the top 5. But we've still got a few more deadlifts here going on platform 1. Let's give us a little bit of a rundown of the standings, Lance.
So Lorenzo Wright still has his 3rd attempt to go, but it's over. He won. He came in, he was far back, and we even said about it, don't take your eye off of Lorenzo Wright. He's a national champion. He's a pro. He's been here before. He's been here for years. He's dominated the USAPL over and over again, and he's still here doing it at the Arnold Sports Festival. Number 2, Kevin Sanukin was sitting in that 2-3 range all meet. I told you, you just have to hit your lifts. He goes 9 for 9. He just rides that line the whole way and gets 542 dots to finish in 2nd. George Noma, first national meet we've seen him at, was sitting in 1st for a while, and then we saw the shakeups. He goes to 540, finishes in 3rd. Great finish for George Noma. Albert Lee, not the best meet for him. You know, he failed his opener on squat. He failed his 3rd attempt on squat. We thought he was out of the meet. He comes in, finishes in 4th.
I'm going to pause you there. Anthony Angelini standing up, yet another 666 pull. 2-1, going to be a good lift. Yet another exceptional finish for Anthony Angelini on the day. 8 for 9, 666.
Dan Howell, I said this from the beginning. He's got a huge pull. He was, I think, around 9th. I said, don't count him out coming into deadlifts. He comes in, he finishes in 5th. Lee Seeley couldn't get on that top 5, but we saw him shake up the rankings as well. And then, of course, Nathan Wilhelm in 7th, finishing with that world record pull.
Absolutely. And we're just rounding out our final pulls here. Sebastian Masadi stands up 672, had a little bit of a struggle on the 2nd attempt. We even see the back spotter throw his hands up like, come on, what even happened there? Finishes out an exceptional day, 7 for 9. Up next, Josh Onadeko, 312.5 kilos. God, the energy in this building is electric. We are rounding out our final pulls of the day, and we have got a show. Some of our strongest deadlifts on the day still to come.
This is such a huge win for USA Powerlifting and powerlifting as a whole. We've seen the best of the best come in here, put on a show. Everybody from 1 through 10 had a chance at least top 3, maybe even top 1. And at no point within this meet did we ever know who was going to finish in that 1st place spot. You know, George Noma was in control of this meet the whole way. Lorenzo Wright was just staying in the shadows the whole time. But You know, the cream rises to the top sometimes. Lorenzo Wright has so much experience. He's gone back years and years and years of competing at nationals. He knows what it takes to get to the top. Just rides that line the whole way. We thought it was over when he missed his second squat, but he still comes in and finishes.
And I'll tell you one thing about Lorenzo, he doesn't miss.
He doesn't.
One of the greatest things I've ever gotten to watch is one of the greatest things I've gotten able to do in my training career is getting to train with Lorenzo every day. Every time I've seen him hit a lift, I think he's going to miss. He finds a way to pull it out.
And here's Danny with 700 pounds. You know, we've done all this talking about the standings, but from lifter to lifter, we've seen some of the heaviest lifts we've seen all going through last year. This was the event of the year so far. It's going to be so hard to top it.
And, I mean, just to put it in perspective, every lift from here on out, over 700 pounds.
Right.
That's not normal, ladies and gentlemen.
We have 5
the
lifters to
1%
go.
of the 1% would love to get into 600-pound pulls. These folks are making 700-pound look easy. Here's Yuli.
Oh, yeah, Yuli.
Not necessarily making it look easy, but he definitely stood it up.
711 pounds.
There it is. 3 white lights there. We see Mark Doherty, handler in the back. Very happy with that. Coming up right behind, Andrew Jessup, 322 and a half, 710 pounds, 711, excuse me. Might not always be open, but we're definitely doing business. Andrew Jessup, can he stand up? Oh, loses it in the hands. Oh, that's a close run there, and it's okay to lose it on the last one. You gave it all. You literally put it all on the platform.
Yeah, he was 8 for 8 up until that point. And, you know, sometimes I tell my athletes, if you hit all 8 attempts going into that third, you know, as long as there's no shakeups in the standings, we'll have some fun. We'll load something up. Patrick Owens up next, same weight, 711 pounds. Down to our bottom 3 lifters.
Taking this time getting set up under their 322 and a half kilos. What a show. Patrick Owens stands it up. A little bit shaky at the top, but I think they're going to give him 2-1. It's a good lift.
As we head on to our male Raw Challenge champion here at the Arnold Sports Festival, the biggest fitness festival in the world. USA Powerlifting, Lorenzo Wright, the veteran, comes in the shadows the whole time. Some people may have counted him out, but he's the champion before the 9th lift goes on the board. But he wants to add to it one more time, 733 pounds.
Bringing another championship home to the Carolinas, to the Life of Strength gym, to Titus Strength and Fitness, to the world of powerlifting. Lorenzo Wright, your champion, just wanted to put a little bit extra on that, a little extra sauce on there. A little bit too much on the day. But what can you ask for, man? He's a champion. He deserves it. He deserves to go for it all in the last one.
What a performance. What a performance. And
not
what a show we were treated to. And we're going to finish it off with Justin Lee, our final lifter of the day, 782 pounds.
What a nice round number that is. 6 reds, a yellow, a collar. Can Justin Lee stand it up all the way? Can he get his hips through? He does. Andrew Lee finishing us off in exactly the fashion that USAPL has been running this Arnold Sports Festival, on a high note. Lance, I'm out of breath.
I know, I got to take a deep breath.
I am out of breath.
You know,
what
for powerlifting
a run.
fans like us, that was like the best it could have been. After the women's session this morning, we're thinking, how can we top what we saw today? And I think we topped it.
Oh, no question about it. I mean, let's take a look at our standings here for the Men's Rod Challenge. Starting off in 5th, Daniel Howell. We were told not to count him out in the very beginning. We were told to wait on that pull, and we did, and that put him well into that 5th spot. He'll come away with a $250 check. Albert Lee, we unfortunately didn't even get to talk a whole lot about Albert Lee. He was just kind of sitting here in the first flight over on platform 1. Missed, didn't have a great run on squat, only getting that 2nd attempt there. Getting the momentum back on bench, that 374 really, really helped him going into the deads.
It's crazy because he's such a good lifter pound for pound, and he kind of sat in the shadows for a while because we thought after squats he might have been cooked. It might have been over for him, but still makes up for it. And again, that's where the experience comes in for some of these lifters. He was able to get it done and find his way onto the podium.
George Noma rounds out our third position. He's going to come home with $750, and we pegged George Noma to be in one of these top spots from the very beginning, and I think that was probably one of the better calls that we have probably ever made. George Noma coming into this meet, first national meet, like you said, just coming directly out of the woodwork, 8 for 8. Near perfect day going into the last pull just to put him into first place.
Right, George was in that first place spot for a while, and he was the guy that everybody had their eyes on. And, you know, unfortunately, towards the end, we had some shakeup. You know, we had a great pull from Kevin Sanukin. We had Lorenzo Wright come out of nowhere. You know, Lorenzo was, again, sitting in the shadows for so long, but you cannot talk down on George Noma for his performance today. He put up a 700-pound squat, and at his first national meet at, again, the biggest sports festival in the world, finishes with third place.
Kevin Sanukin is going to round out our second place spot. He's going to take home a big 4-digit check for $1,000. Agent Orange himself out of Georgia, and what a show he put on. Another near perfect performance, going 8 for 8 going into the last pull. Actually, forgive me, I'm all sorts of mixed up. Kevin Sanukin, 9 for 9 on the day.
Right, Kevin Sanukin,
completely forgot his
he was the one we spoke about. I said, you know, just sit there and just build the total. Build the total. You got to wait for someone else to make that change where something doesn't end up right, and Kevin Sanukin does that, and he gets into that second place spot. You know, Lorenzo Wright, we said it time and time again, he's the pro. He's been here before. He's the champion. He's been to nationals year after year after year. He's got the experience, and what do you find? Lorenzo Wright, such a strong lifter, and he gets it done once again.
He gets it done. That's another championship brought home to the Carolinas, another notch in the championship record of Lorenzo Wright.
And this wouldn't be fair if we didn't give the head nod to Garrett Lockwood either. Remember, he was in that fourth place spot, and he didn't want to jump up to third. He didn't want to jump up to second, but he loaded all the way up for first. He said, like I said, Ricky Bobby, Tailgate Knights, if you're not first, you're last. Right. So he loads up for it. Unfortunately, he misses it, but you got to respect the move. You know, go for it. And unfortunately, he drops off the top 5, but what an incredible performance from all of our lifters today. Even the ones that did not show up in that top 5 or even top 10, we got world records. We got big attempts, 800-pound squats, 800-pound deadlifts. This was truly the best of the best we had to offer.
It really was, and that is going to round out our coverage today of the Male Raw Challenge here, and it is going to be our last session for the day here at the Arnold Sports Festival. But before we go, we want to give a quick rundown of all of our sponsors that have helped make this meet possible, starting off with A7, Demand Greatness. A7, our presenting sponsor, a very well-known partner for USA Powerlifting, has been for many years, will continue to be for many years, and we're always grateful for their support in putting on a meet of this caliber. We also want to shout out Hansu Powerlifting for providing a lot of our equipment on the platform in addition to Texas Strength Systems. I want to give a quick shout out to Primo Chalk for keeping our hands on a bar for today, and we also want to give another quick shout out to Titan Support Systems. We're always grateful for their support. And Nike Powerlifting, very new partnership that we've got going on with Nike Powerlifting, providing discounts and premium USA Powerlifting gear for our higher level competitors. If you have any questions, be sure to check out Nike.com. And I think that's going to wrap us up.
What a great day. What a great day. Men's session was amazing. Women's session was amazing. I almost don't want to leave. I wish we could do it all over again.
I don't know. I want to go eat. Well, that's going to be the end of us. My name is Nick Stevens.
And I'm Lance London. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. It's been a phenomenal pleasure. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We've got the Battle of the Regions coming at 11 a.m. as well as our Empower ID Nationals. So be sure to tune in for day 3 of USA Powerlifting at the Arnold Sports Festival. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
go. Bars loaded.